Hello, everyone. Welcome to this week's live session. We are going to switch things up a little bit. I've brought you some training and resources first, and then we are going to jump into the questions that have been pre-submitted for the from the Grow with Evelyn Pro and Premium members. So if this is you, don't worry, I got your answer in the back. Hey, Adriana, how's it going? And I will also timestamp it for you, of course, so you'll find your answer in the session. Okay, so before we jump in, as we jump in, let me start by talking about Black Friday. So I've seen Black Friday being top of mind for everyone. And the question is, how do we create really powerful, limited time special offers and promos, especially if we don't want to create something new? So this is what we're going to cover in today's quick training. And if you're looking into the community, you can also see that I brought you some templates here. Hey, Benjamin. Okay, so the first things is, how do we create a special offer without something new? How do we run the ads for it? And so I want to give this with an example, and the example is Black Friday, because I know a lot of you are still thinking about, should I have been running a Black Friday offer? I didn't create anything. And so today I want to share my perspective on that with you. And I also want to thank you so much for joining. Okay, so first things first, we can always offer something even if we don't have anything ready-made yet. The easiest thing to offer if you have nothing to sell, right, and you don't know what to offer, would be a themed session offer. And what I like to do is I like to productize these themed session towards a specific outcome. So I want to give you an example for what it looks like when I'm selling these themed sessions. So here you can see ads session. I will typically accompany it with a dashboard that people get. So when I promote it, I will already tell them using the dashboard what we're going to do in the themed session. And then I will also tell them that they will walk away with what we have done in the session, right? So for example, this was a session that I sold extremely well, that when I still enrolled members into my mastermind, I had a 50% upgrade rate into my mastermind. And it was an ad session. And the way that I sold it and promoted it and also delivered it was that I explained to people that first we're going to take an inventory of their offers and experience with ads and with their offers, right? So which is then written down here. Then we're going to decide on the best funnel for them. Then we're going to select the campaign type, the optimization event. Then we're going to co-create the copy and creatives live in the session. I'm going to help them set up the campaign from scratch. And then after 72 hours and then after 7 days, they can send me an update video showing me these numbers. And then I will give them feedback on how to optimize their campaigns. And with that, I made this one-to-one session productized and very, very tangible. So we can always do that. If we have nothing to offer, we can always do a themed session. And if you're in the membership right now, I'm going to drop a themed session planner. So if you have nothing else to offer and you need something to, bring in some sales and some customers quickly, I have yet to find something that is more powerful than the themed session planner. Okay. And you can always upsell from there into ongoing WhatsApp support, into your community, etc. Okay, so that's something we can always do. Now, we also can have a closeout offer. So what is a closeout offer? This is what I'm doing right now. So my traffic challenge has been going so well. Hello, hello, hello. What happened to the live stream setup? How is it looking on your end? On my end, it looks just fine. It seems like in StreamYard, there's an option to stream vertically as well as horizontally. So, but on YouTube, it comes out just fine. Screen is really hard to read with this view. Let me see if I can actually make it bigger somehow. Are you watching it on your phone or on YouTube? I would love to know, and I can always increase the size of the screen. Yes, definitely going into Q&A as well. All right, another offer that you can do is a closeout offer, right? So it's another offer you can do without creating something new. And this is literally what I'm doing right now. So you have something in your community. For example, I just created this Create Your Own School Challenge course, and I'm closing it out, right? So my offer is literally, if you join before the 3rd of December, you still get access to this course on the standard level. After that, it's only available in premium, right? So another way for you to create a special offer without creating anything new is just taking something you have in your community, in your offer suite right now, and making it harder or more expensive to get it, or not possible at all. Another offer we can do is an accountability offer, right? So this is when you offer 7 to 28 is the longest that I would go, WhatsApp support to help members implement a specific training or course or resource or method you already have offered, right? So this would be me, for example, going in and then saying, okay, so I'm doing a Black Friday special and I have 5 spots for when I help people one-on-one via WhatsApp with the creation of their own school community challenge as an attraction offer, right? So again, don't have to create anything. I can do this with the existing things that I have right now. Another zero create offer would just be to give a steeper annual discount or give additional lifetime rights with the annual. So when we're looking in Grow with Evelyn, I now have tiers, right? And you can always find your own or anyone's tiers if they have implemented it under their school name / plans. And here you can see the plans that I have right now, right? So right now I have not yet announced the Black Friday offer in here, but here is what I currently have as the annual tier. Now, if I wanted to make this a limited time special, what I could do is I could potentially say lifetime access to all courses in there right now and added throughout the year of your membership. And the reason why I think for communities in dynamic fields like digital marketing or AI, this might be a good idea is because the lifetime of your courses is not infinite, right? So we have to keep reinventing our content as markets change quickly. So for you, even if you add a lifetime offer here, it might still make sense for a lot of people to keep renewing with you to be up to date with all of the current developments. Now, if you are not in a highly dynamic niche, another thing that you can do is to just give a steeper discount. So I here already give 50% discount. If I wanted to have a quick cash injection, I could, for example, over Black Friday, right? So we're talking about special offers, limited time. I could go down with another $50 or $100, right? To generate a quick cash injection. Again, an offer I can make without creating anything new. And lifetime deals, right? So this is something that I would only do if I have a very new community and then heavily disclaimed, or towards members who have churned. So in Growth Evelyn, we had a couple of members that reported very, very successfully. They have been reaching out to members who churned and offered them a one-off higher fee for a lifetime membership, because they realized that a lot of people just want to pay and be done with it and always have access versus paying on an ongoing basis. And typically what they would do is to take 2 times the annual as their lifetime deal and then, offer it to the people that already churned. I do think it can also be a really good strategy for beginners who want to get their community to a minimum viable size and have, their recurring members. However, here you need to be careful because you need to be convinced that you want to do it for an extended period of time. And if you're not convinced of that, you have to be transparent with people who buy the lifetime deal, right? So it's less critical with communities that have a lower price anyways, but still you always want to be transparent. So lifetime deals is something you can also do without creating anything new. And then last but not least, something you can do without creating anything new is a pre-sale offer. And if you want to know exactly how to create a pre-sale offer, I have a super detailed video here for you on my channel where you can watch me over the shoulder make and sell a pop-up offer in 41 minutes using School. So this would be a pre-sale offer. Again, you can start to promote it even if you don't have created anything new. Here's the only one where you potentially have to create something new. right? So, but all the other ones are, and including this, are offers that you can create relatively quickly. Now, how do you promote them? Well, the first thing is that you need to write your promo copy. And so a template for the promo copy that I want to give you right now is this one here that I just validated with Complyly as well for my Black Friday offer. So here you see it got 2 warnings. So overall it's good, but it has 2 warnings. One is to substantiate the numbers here, which I can easily do because I tracked all of them, right? And they're also in the school dashboard and they're also in my ads manager. So we have substantiated proof here. And then the other warning that I got was a false scarcity. So here the problem is this statement creates a false sense of urgency and scarcity, which can pressure consumers into making a purchase decision without adequate information or consideration. This would only be a problem if the offer wasn't actually going away. But because this is a Black Friday offer that's actually going away, this is real scarcity. Black Friday offers are a thing. So this is okay, and I can resolve it in this case because I can also substantiate that the offer will not be around after. And here I also have my substantiation, my documentation before I even make these claims, right? So really important. Now for you, for your limited time special offer promo, again, call out that it's a special limited time opportunity. Start with proof, right? So what puts you in the position of making that special offer? Make sure you can substantiate it. Then if it's, really outstanding results, make sure to be transparent about these being outstanding results. So for example, I said, Black Friday deal. Since the beginning of November, my challenge attraction offer has added 576 trials, 221 paying members, 7,170 in net monthly recurring revenue to my school community. Obviously, my results won't be yours. I'm not sharing these numbers to imply that they will be, but to show you why my members who've seen me build and grow this challenge and also I are excited about this offer, right? So this claim, make sure your results are not theirs, but you have authority because you've done the thing. So you've probably found a pretty efficient way to do what you're about to teach. So then we have again, I want to tune it down even more because it's pretty big numbers, right? So I'm a very skilled and experienced marketer, which allowed me to set this up and drive traffic to it. What's in it for you? I'm completely templatized the whole thing. You get instant access to deliverables, right? So this from here, it's pretty much standard ad copy. This course is just one of the things you get instant access to when joining Grow with Evelyn with the 7-day free trial. If you join before the end of the day on December 3rd, you'll get access to this course on the standard tier as well. So check it out and secure this Black Friday deal now. This will also be my exact email copy, right? So we first want to have for your offer this copy, and you can literally use it as a template, right? So limited time, proof, context disclaimers, what is in it for them, offer details. That's what you need to have in place. Okay, and then we want to promote it. Now, the promotion opportunities that we have is our free school communities, our email lists, and our ads, of course. So what I'm going to do for the free school community right now is I'm literally just going to take this text, and this is not the right one. This is my headline in this case. This is my body copy in this case. Just making sure the formatting is okay. And this is also why we need to save the post that we can send via email for these limited time offers, right? Because we can email basically everyone in school every 72 hours, and the deliverability is really, really fantastic. So we want to make sure that we have this, and I also want to make sure to add my link in here, and we always link to dash about page so there is no redirect. And then be very explicit. You can join here and secure the deal now. Okay, and then I will add a graphic. So what I've added for you guys is templates in Grow with Evelyn. So you can just come here and just make a copy of the templates, and then you can adjust it to your offer. So these are all the Black Friday ad templates. And I also have mine already skinned. And I think I like this one the most. So I'm just going to download it. Pull it in here, and then I'm going to send this as an email to this list, right? Literally replacing my last offer in here. So this is really the power of the free school communities as well, is that they now more and more function like an email list with really high deliverability. Okay, so perfect. We got the first like. Now, another thing that we can do is to make people aware that, and again, you have the templates in there. I'm actually also going to use this as a template for you. So I like to templatize with Claude. Please identify what I do in each section of this copy and make it a template with prompts that any creator from any niche with any special offer can use. Perfect. Proof of results, honest disclaimer reframe, credibility statement, bridge to benefits, offer breakdown. So I really love how it was able to capture all of these sections. And I'm going to add this example. Special offer copy template. So I'm also going to add this for you. Special offer copy template. If you want to use this for your posts and your emails as well. Okay. Now, if I transform this into an email, I'll literally just do the same. Okay, so I can't stay for the Q&A. I'm in the middle of filming my new monthly content, but I wanted to add something to my submitted question. Okay, I will make sure to add this in the context of your question when I am ready to capture it. Okay, so for the emails, I will literally do the same, create a campaign. And here we just need to, again, this is my subject line, guys. And then create the email. And all you're doing here as well is take the exact same text. I even want to take it as I had it here because I just added the call to action as well. And then I just switch out the image to the one we also used right now. And that's it. So not doing anything else with this. Same as the promo post. If I was still posting on Facebook, I would also post it the exact same way there. The only thing I do these days on Facebook is ads. That's it. Okay, send now. And then we can already set up the ads for it. All right, so let me just see what ad arrow we have here. Yesterday, I did a training for you guys in Grow with Evelyn around the target cost campaigns, and I ran into reaching my ad limits. So I'm still running into this. Okay, now let me show you how to set up ads for your special limited time offers. Create, sales, continue, because we have to force budget. Into it, we will use high volume campaign, and I will go with a little bit of a higher daily budget. So I'm just gonna go 200 euros. Now here under the ad set, we need to have our pixel and we need to optimize for purchase. We leave everything open but the countries. We're gonna take our tier 1 countries that you can also just look for in the community. Just type in tier 1 into the search field, select countries, match locations, add, you need your beneficiary, that's it. And then here, we're just gonna put Black Friday. We're not gonna do this for Hormozi's account, which for some reason it always wants to do. And then we're just gonna put the creative up. So set up creative, it's an image ad. We're gonna send them, of course, to, oh, see, so we have some movement here already. Gonna send them to the page with the about slash. Next, and then we have media. Just pull the very same image in here. We leave all in the original for the cropping. Gonna put the same text in here. And just here, we're gonna switch it a little bit up because the headline, so just space it out a bit. Join here now. This is going to be the headline. School attraction offer. This is good. Okay, next. No image generation or video generation for this. And then that's it. And if you can, because we just have this short time frame, make multiple variations. So I'm just gonna download these here now. And I'm just gonna show you how to upload one of the variations, but you would ideally complete it with multiple variations. So I have a total of 6, so I'm going to duplicate it 5 times. I'm just going to copy this because this is how I'll basically cruise through, add image, and then we upload all of the ones we haven't had yet. 1, 2, 4, 5, 6. And you can click everything through but the cropping. And then you continue doing that for all of the remaining ads that you have. Or maybe I show you, because it's actually really much quicker than most people do. So we already had 3, now 4. Original, original. And then we have 5 and 6. 5. So really just swapping out the images. And you can also see that I don't do any like timelines. I will just go in manually and turn it off. For some reason, the scheduled campaigns that have a definite end, they just don't do as well for me. So I always just do an indefinite end. And then you hit publish. Here as well. Sometimes it can be that it doesn't load this. These are old ones that we don't need. And now voila, you have your Black Friday or limited time special offer campaign. Now, only a couple more things that I want to do with and for you and that I want to share with you is banners. So of course, when you run ads to your community, when you have a limited time offer, it does make sense to show that what people are looking for is inside there. So here I'm just going to download this one as well, and I'm also going to add it to my community. And I'm also going to give you the community banners as templates. And then what you want to do here is just change that to Black Friday, because in school discovery, as well as when people land on the page, they will also see that something special is going on. And now I made a little mistake because I should have saved the image here, which I can do now. Because in the meantime, I should still have another space for communicating that the school traffic challenge is indeed in here. Okay, so this is done. This is how you can create a special offer if you have nothing else, and also how to promote it. All right, so I haven't ran ads in almost 3 years. Does it matter? It doesn't matter. Things have changed, right? We're going to talk about one of them today in the call, but that's okay. Okay, so let me just quickly come through here, catch up with everyone. So Iris, I'm going to make sure to catch your question. Can't stay for the Q&A. I launched the ad to Zimtsteiner online course, and the ad went well. Good CTRs, but only one sale in about a week. Already talked to Adela, and it's clearly the sales page which breaks the funnel. Okay. which is interesting because last year the page converted perfectly. What happened from last year to this year? Do you see the trend in other niches as well? I had to turn off the ad. So what we see is a trend to shorter sales pages for sure. So I'm not sure what the sales page currently looks like, but there definitely is a trend to shorter sales pages. So just directly sending people to checkout. This would be the next thing that I would test, and just ensuring that, the checkout just runs smoothly as well. Thank you so much. I'm glad to hear that. I will have an update on the challenge for you as well. And I'm going to dive into that. Maybe we should do that next. Such great timing, working on my Black Friday deals today and the next few days. Going to do a 24-hour, 4-day offer. Love it. Just launched my school community yesterday. Have my first 70 members. Congratulations. Following your challenge. My question, I have a free, premium, and VIP. Notice you only have free trial. Should I not have it free? So great question. Thank you so much. I find it easier to work with the free trial. So people can check it out risk-free, right? But only for a limited amount of time. And I already have the credit data, right? So currently the upgrade path from when somebody joins a free community until they then upgrade to paid, it's not super intuitive. So I like actually to work with paid tiers plus the free trial, but you have to test it on your community. I looked into the data with Sam, and for my account it works better. So my overall conversion rate is so much higher, and my trial conversion right now is around 48%. So it does net work better for me to do the paid tiers with the free trial, but every community is different. I personally have seen that it's not really intuitive for people to upgrade from the free to paid. So as soon as you have enough proof, the community is valuable enough, you have enough valuable offers, I try to make it paid, and then you can still work with the free trial. All right, so beautiful. Now, next up, I had a few things today prepared for you that I definitely wanted to share. The first thing was the templates and the limited time offers. Now, the next thing that I want to share with you here is maybe we can already talk about the challenge. So, what happens when you stay consistent for 30 days? I've done that with my challenge, and the numbers are in, and I'm super excited to actually walk you through. So this is already my second challenge follow-up tracker, and here's my first traffic challenge tracker. So basically, I did focus on increasing the traffic to my school community every single day for now 36 days in a row. But I want to take a look at the last 30 days and what happened basically since then. So here you can see this was the 26th of October, and we had $49,115 MRR. And now we have 58. Let me see if it changed since then actually. Oh, but it's already a day up. So now we have 58,800 MRR. So I grew 30 days of consistency, brought me $9,764 in monthly recurring revenue, net growth after churn. Now, of course, we also need to look a little bit more detailed because I also spend money on ads. So the quick rundown is that I spent a total of $14,000 on ads to get to this net growth. And in the first month, I'm actually in the minus $2,000. So my current payback period is 1.117 months. Now, overall, though, I'm really extremely happy with this because you see my current monthly recurring revenue. Even at this scale, I do not have a cash flow problem. But with the current churn that I now know from the updated metrics, the lifetime value added to the business if churn stays the same after ad spend is $120,000 flowing back after the lifetime of a customer. So I'm super, super happy. And if you look at how my community has been or not been growing over the year where I was less consistent, also because I had more responsibilities. I still had my mastermind. I started to run ads for school. So I had a little bit of a scattered focus. You can see that the 30 days of consistency made a pretty big difference. So it made a clear difference in numbers. I'm super excited to be growing again, to have been able to net add. So we had 579 members, and the actual conversion rate from these members, I manually wrote it out, was 221 paying members so far from them. Here, according to the worst case, which is the school trial conversion rate, but the actual trial conversion rate from the real ones that I track manually, because school always takes it over the full month, and I think it has a little bit of a lag in here, is actually higher. So here you can see it's been 48.9%. So that means that it's been over 242 members added, which led to this growth. And the things that I learned from this challenge, what happens when you are consistent, is a few things. The first thing is that because you have the pre-commitment and you know what you need to do every single day, it takes out a lot of the guesswork and the mental back and forth around what you do, and it prevents you from falling into rabbit holes that don't pay into what's the actual focus in the business right now, right? So the pre-commitment of this is what needs to happen every single day took off a lot of pressure. It saved me a lot of mental capacity, and it made sure that the things that are actually moving the needle in my business, right, which is the traffic, it ensured that that is happening consistently. So, and if it would not, here also, let me show you the traffic. See how the traffic grew. So we started end of October with the challenge. So it made sure that there's a baseline of energy invested in needle moving tasks. Now, did I still fall down into rabbit holes of creation and doing things? Yes, absolutely. But what happened was that my frame of mind was already around traffic. So the rabbit holes that I fell into actually did also massively help with this. And because a lot of mental space was occupied with the pre-commitment and the rabbit holes that emerged from it, I had less room for doing things that are distraction and that didn't move the needle, because I literally had to ask myself, when do I make time for this? Because there was only so much time left in the day. So that was really, really powerful. Another really powerful aspect was the data, right? So during the challenge, I realized that there was a drop in the trial conversion rate. And so I actually shared this as a behind the scenes. I was going in my head and I was thinking, okay, the only thing I really did when I changed this was that I stopped commenting under everybody's challenge updates. So I probably now have to set aside 1 to 2 hours a day to go back and to make sure I'm engaging with everyone's challenge update, because that's literally the only thing I changed, right? So I was so convinced in my head that that was the only thing that I ever changed, until, because now I had the track of it, I went back to the days when people joined that were the days of the lower trial conversion rate, right? And so I opened up the days and I was like, okay, what actually happened on these days? And I realized I did comment on these days. So that can actually not be it. What else did I do on that day? Well, I launched this YouTube video. I made this post. Okay, no, I also cannot see why that would lower the trial conversion rate. I also launched new ads. Wait a second, there was a new winning ad on that day. Oh, it spoke to people that are pre-school launch, and obviously they might be overwhelmed with the challenge. So I need to create supplementary resources for them to stay. And that's literally, thank you so much for joining us, when I created the brand kit, right? And it almost instantly helped with the trial conversion rate. So second biggest takeaway from doing something consistently for 30 days is, despite the saved mental capacity, the pre-commitment and the focus and the reduced time for anything that doesn't pay into the things that move the needle, was that I now actually have the very accurate day by day data. What did I do to grow my business? And when numbers fall out of line or goal, I can now really spot what I did and I can reverse or adjust that, right? Without this data, because I was convinced that this is what I changed, I would have not known this. And I would right now be spending 2 hours a day commenting under posts, which would equate to absolutely nothing. And I don't even want to think about the amount of times that I've probably been doing this in my business. So just having the data itself and being able to make data-driven decisions is an absolute game changer. And then the third thing that I noticed, third biggest takeaway, is that you start to like what you consistently do. So in the beginning, I didn't love the idea of having to check in and every single day, right? And to basically clock in. And then at the end of the first 28 days, which was the first run of the challenge, well, first off, people were reaching out to me already a couple days before. They were like, what are we doing? Are we continuing? Will there be another round? I don't want to stop right now. And then I also had that feeling. I was like, I don't want to stop right now. Like, it will be terrible. I don't want to go back to where I've been before. I want to keep this up because now I'm having all of this momentum and I have all of these results and I have this habit now. I actually don't want to drop it. Something about me not filling in this tracker and not resetting my focus every day to this just feels so wrong. So I also learned that we don't like specific things or dislike specific things. It's like the more we do something, the more we familiarize ourselves with it, the more we start liking it and seeking it out and craving it. So for me, that was huge as well, to understand that in the beginning I had so much resistance towards it, and now I have so much joy doing it. And it's probably true for everything I do and touch and want to change in my business. So even now, do this in the sense of nutrition and getting my steps in, etc., just tracking every single day. And seeing, what is the point when I actually start liking it and when I will miss not doing this and tracking it. Right, so this is how the challenge was going. Can just highly recommend it to everyone. I think the key is to not make it too complicated and to allow yourself choice within the things that you do. So when I started out, I basically did all of the things. Right, so here was my hypothesis about these are all of the tasks that move the needle on the traffic. And in the beginning, you can see I did all of them, right? So I just distributed throughout the day. And then as you can see, as it was going further along, I pretty much just zoomed in on ads because I was like, this is what comes most natural to me, most easy, what feels most sustainable, and where I have the biggest lever overall. And so what I would recommend for you as well is don't pick too many tasks. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 potential actions here. But within those potential actions, I can choose what I want to do when it comes to moving myself closer towards the goal on any given day. And I really loved having this choice, and I really loved being able to find my way of doing it consistently that didn't feel like I'm failing, right? Because I felt like, oh, I have to check all the boxes. This is why I actually designed it in this way, that you get the green box if you just show up and check in on your core KPIs. And actually, let me just see, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, it's 7 tasks, right? But as long as you check in on your numbers, you recommit and you do one thing, you're good. You get a green box. And then you can track the other ones where you can see what's your overall score. So you have gamification in doing more, but it's good enough if you do one thing that moves you towards your goal. And I once read this concept of the no 0 days, right? So living a life where you don't let a single day pass, where you don't do anything that pays into your goals. And I really love this because I can see how you're just in a different mindset, and this small, tiny action you do towards your goal is like a keystone habit, and it kicks you back into just thinking about your goals and taking more of the right actions consistently, and that compounds. All right, so that worked out pretty well, and I'm really glad that I did the challenge, and I will continue doing it, and I will roll it out across multiple offers and across multiple areas of my life. All right, so Okay, you're at day 36 of the challenge. Are you just going to continue count up or start the challenge with the members at 0 there? How do you structure documentation there? So basically, I keep documenting. Thank you so much for the question. So I keep adding to the classroom. I did create a follow-up tracker that's a little bit more simplified here, and I keep up with it. I let members know on day 29. We announced the first winner and I gave them the follow-up tracker. So there's still members doing this with me, and I continue to make updates. I might not make an update every single day, but I do make updates when there's something that I'm doing now that's share worthy. Like, for example, yesterday I had to rework all of my target cost campaigns. So I made a training as the behind the scenes of that day. And this is how I keep the documentation and the focus up on it as well. And I still have members going really, really strong with me here. If I change the standard level now to paid with a free trial, what happens to the current members on the standard level? You can assign the members to where you want to have them. You can keep them in standard, or you can also add them to premium. This is your choice, and you can even now change it manually on the member. I'm starting a 100-day challenge tomorrow. That's amazing. The tracker is pure genius. I'm amazed. That's awesome. If you are in the community, we do have a white label of the tracker in here in this course. That is the offer for the Black Friday as well. And you have the template and how to customize it like really quickly if you just want to go with the days and the similar structure as I did. But I also did a full over-the-shoulder tracker creation where I create the tracker from scratch. So if you, for example, have 100 days now, if you watch this video, you will know how to build out and design and make functional a tracker for 100 days. So that's here in the classroom waiting for you as well. I feel overwhelmed with my ads manager. I used to have a team run them. It's like a spaghetti plate in there. Should I delete all of that and start fresh since it's years ago now anyways? Need to start. Yes, I would recommend this as well because if your offers and everything is new, right, the data in there, potentially you cannot leverage it anymore. But also why it makes sense is because now since the Andromeda update, Meta is more strict with ad limits per page because they now get a lot of ad inventory like that they need to, take into inventory. So they are strict with the ad limits per page. And so what I recommend for you, everything that you don't need anymore, just delete it out. You can always export the data before you do that and record it so you have it for the future, and then just clean it out and start from scratch. Hello, Jessie. How's it going? Nice to see you. Do you know what has driven the most tasks? Yeah, 100% it has been ads. That has been my main focus. I feel like school was made for ADHD creative brain, a space where I can pour all of my expertise and passion without constantly starting over. 100%. I so agree. Thank you so much. Hey, Rochelle. How's it going? I saw you have a question as well. I will tag you in the timestamp if you cannot hang around. I notice your offers are very school focused. Do you think this will help keeping people there as they're really interested in school? I have challenges getting people stick from Facebook through ads. So the reason why right now I'm adding more school offers is because, as you might know, I'm running ads for school, the platform itself. And now what I do is I do 4 to 5 hours a day just running ads for school. So it's very, very top of mind for me. And it's also where my skill set is sharpening like crazy right now, right? Because I now have learnings daily that I used to have on a monthly basis. And so for me, it feels, and I also have committed bigger to the platform as well, right? And to keep doing this for an extended period of time. So for me now, it feels in alignment to say, I can teach this probably better than anyone else because nobody has spent more in school ads on the planet than I have. So it feels like a full circle, very justified for me to make this my attraction offer right now, which is why I zoomed in on specifically paid traffic for school. And all of the other offers that I'm creating around this is basically based on just what the members tell me that they need. But I don't necessarily think it has to be a school-focused offer. Obviously, we have this shared knowledge and goal because we are all on school. But even for communities that don't, advertise or share or sell anything that's related to school, we still see that they get very high traffic and conversions from school. So Sam even showed this in one of the latest school news, where there is a community that's in the e-com space, as far as I understood it, that gets about 100K worth of members and traffic every single month from school discovery. So I don't think you need a school offer to benefit from being on the platform and having a challenge on the platform. On the ads, did you accept the AI text that Facebook provided or just kept the copy the same across all campaigns? I will these days try to accept as much AI copy as possible from Facebook, but I will reject it if it's factually incorrect or if it's, making non-compliant claims, which means that I reject about 80% of copy that Facebook recommends to me. But as much as it's possible, I will try to use the AI generated copy from Meta because it does reward whenever we use its AI and Advantage Plus features. I watch your full over the shoulder tracker. Thank you so much. I mean, if they're on standard and free and then I make it paid, do they remain for free? Yes. So you cannot switch them manually to paid. They would have to make that decision themselves. What made me decide to open a free community instead of a freemium? I think it would cannibalize Grow with Evelyn and it would alter my focus. The main goal of my free community was just to be found better in AI search with my YouTube videos. And then it kind of turned into an email list as well. So now I appreciate that benefit. But if I was now making it a freemium community as well, it would just scatter my attention between the different communities. So it's just better to have it consolidated like that and sell from the free into the paid. My focus is to figure out how people from Facebook ads will come back to the community. Do you have a framework for that? Yeah, absolutely. So that will be the retargeting ads. And we have a video about that on the channel, which is retargeting ads tutorial. This is the one you're looking at. Are you looking for? Alrighty, so another thing I wanted to discuss with you today is the Andromeda ads setup and management workflow. This was one of the pre-submitted questions, and I get it so often now that I decided to turn it into a training. Okay, so please watch me explaining you how I set up and manage ads now since the Andromeda ad update. Okay, so I will basically come in here. The first thing that I do is I create a set of ads. What are these ads? It's the this ad always works ads. So when you come on here, works every time. This is the video. I ran thousands of ads. This works every time. And I want to show you this in Miro because this is just offer ads, right? So nothing about this changed. Nothing about ads on a smaller scale changed with the Andromeda update. So it's still an ad that is very much describing what your offer is with a very simple text. And this is the first campaign we will set up. It can be enough to have just your about page video, your cover, community cover, a mock-up, and a talking head video. These can be enough to seed your first batch of ads, right? So here you can see, this is the loom from the about page, right? And I've used this multiple times. Then we have just simple talking head videos with the text on screen, like so. Then we have mock-ups of things that are inside your community or for your community itself, celebrating how many members. Right, so these are the type of ads that we want to run, and the copy is always the same. Hook that shows why they need your offer or in your community. Hi, who are you? Relevant background, again, proof. I created offer for customer who want X result, right? You get, list exactly what they get, join the offer now for price, link, final call to action. Always the same copy. The formats are really, really simple. They are either a mock-up or a Loom where you walk them through what they get, or a talking head video that also has captions and screenshots of what they get, or just simply the cover of your community, right? So that's the first batch of ads that you want to create. And you are going to just create your campaign, regular setup, right? So foundation campaign, this is it ads, right? Between 1 to 5 different ones. This is the foundations campaign. And we're gonna always start it with a high volume campaign. And then from the price, we're going to do 1 to 2 times the price of your membership. Now, in my case, Grow with Evelyn right now has a 7-day free trial, but the lowest tier is $33. So I'm going to put between $33 and $66. So this is why 50 is a really great price for me to start it. Okay. And then I'm going to have highest volume. And I'm just going to, again, select my pixel, purchase as the conversion event. I will only add countries, the tier 1 countries, and then in here I will use the standard copy, right? And the creatives I just described to you, either mock up your community picture or a Loom of what's included, or a talking head video that shows exactly what they get, right? For very, very detailed description, just watch the This Ad Always Works video. And you're gonna add all 5 in here under this foundations campaign. That is it. Right, so first campaign, I just want to put this here. So step number 1, create your foundations campaigns. These are the first campaigns. This is the offer ads, Loom, mockup, community image, simple talking head with screenshots. One to 5 ads. 1 sales campaign, optimizing for purchase. 1 ad set, tier 1 countries, no targeting, okay? And then high volume bidding, 1 to 2 times the cost of your community, lowest tier. For example, community lowest tier. Okay, so that's the first campaign that you create, right? That's the foundational campaign. Now, what you can also do with this is, and this is optional, turn this also into a target cost bidding campaign. 1K to 10K per day spent. In budget, right? It will not spend all, with target cost 30% lower than your actual target cost. Okay, so what does this look like? I would now duplicate this and I would rename it to target cost, right? So once the ads are in here, and here I would go with a different bid strategy, cost per result goal, and I would increase this. I just go to 10,000 because it won't spend that anyway. And then on the ad set level, I will put my target cost per purchase. And I know that I have a break even if I have around $30 cost per purchase. So the highest I can ever go here is 20. But ideally, I want to be overly cautious. So I can start with something like 15 or 17, and then I can slowly up it if the campaign doesn't spend. So this campaign will very likely not spend, and that's okay. We will keep adding ads over time. Okay, so that's the optional scaling campaign that you can right away add, is this target cost campaign. You don't have to do it, right? But it's a way for you to potentially scale a little quicker. Now, let's go for step 2. Now, how do we go from here? Test new ads. Right, and now you want to have minimum 5 to 10 new concepts. Oh, guys, I quickly have to bring my charger. Just give me 1 second. Okay, so we will test new ads. So minimum is 5 to 10 new concepts. Same budget, 1 to 2 times front-end offer price, right? So here, if you think about it, the lowest tier is also the front-end offer price. And same setup as foundations campaign. Right now, runtime 72 hours. Okay, so, and then optional, duplicate into target cost campaign again, right? So you can see this here in my account too. So this is my original traffic challenge campaign for scaling, right? So this is the target cost one. As you can see, it didn't scale like too far. This is the high volume one, and it did scale quite a bit, right? So I had my initial ads in here, duplicated it over, put the $10,000 budget, let it sit. Then I launched new campaigns, right? Here you can see always with the date, and I also would put them as high volume and also put them in a target cost campaign. And I would let them run after 72 hours. Now, what do we do after the 72 hours? Step number 3, check new campaigns. Or check campaigns. After 72 hours. Okay, now no purchase after 72 hours. Turn off the campaign. Start at step number 1. And if already your original "this is it" ad flopped, then you have offer work to do. You stop ads at this point. You look critically at your offer, right? So you verify that you have set up your ads correctly, but then you look at your offer and you make a hypothesis around why did it not sell? what do I need to tweak about my offer to potentially make it sell. And a really good book is the $100 million money models and the different offers that are in there, right? And see, can I tweak one of my offers, or can I tweak my front-end offers to reflect one of the attraction offers, for example, right? But if you have no sale on the original campaign, then go back to 0. So no purchase after 72 hours, maybe let's say on original campaign, stop ads and work on offer. New offer hypothesis. Repeat step number 1 for new offer. And you keep being there until you get live signs from your offer, which means at least one sale in 72 hours. Okay? So that's really critical. Once you have that lifeline, now for your new campaigns, so once offer is confirmed, because foundations campaign gets purchases, look at new ad campaigns, and if no sales in 72 hours, turn off campaign, make new batch of ads to test, and set them up like in step number 2. If you have ads that made a sale, add them to foundational campaign using post ID. So how do we do that? Right? We go in here, and now you see for example, in the school events, we started to get some sales here. This, for example, has not been added to the campaign. So you just select the ad that got a sale in the testing campaign, preview, Facebook post with comment. This is your post ID. And you go ahead and you add it to your foundational campaign. Duplicate just an existing ad. Paste the ID as the ad name. Enter the post ID here. And publish. And of course, you also want to do the same with your target cost campaign. So that's what you do regardless of the campaign's profitability. As soon as you find a purchase, you keep distributing it into campaigns that have previously performed, right? Now, if campaign overall is still profitable, increase the spend slightly. I like to move in $15 to $25 increments. Okay, people always are like, oh, don't do more than 10%, etc. It doesn't matter as much. Just start increasing. If campaign overall unprofitable, turn it off. Okay, and this is the cycle that you basically keep repeating, right? So you keep testing new ads and you keep distributing it. Step number 4. Test new ads and distribute. Same as previous steps. Distribute ads that generate purchases into all profitable high volume and target cost campaigns. The budgets at which even at bigger budgets, you do not compete with your own ads. Every new campaign is a standalone machine learning experiment that starts with initial conditions, which means that the first ad gets shown to the random first person, and depending on how they react, depending on all of the factors in their life right now, Meta finds the next person to show it to, and the next person, and the next person, and the next person. The analogy that I like to give is it's like throwing a seed out and it can land on fertile soil, right? And from there, it can grow into its own unique tree with its branches. And basically, what you do with these new campaigns is you just throw seeds. And sometimes they just land on fertile ground and they grow in the right direction. And when you have that going on, you need to distribute ads that are proven to make a sale into that location. And you don't want to be concerned about consolidating, like, even with over 6 figures spent a day, you don't have to be considered, because it's much more about distribution than it is, about one campaign that competes with each other. It's not the case like that at all. Please don't be worried about. The only thing that you need to be mindful of right now, because Facebook has so much inventory, is to delete ads that don't work, right? So after a while, you can go in, and yesterday I just cleaned it out. But let's say, for example, here, scaling volume 2, I look at this month, and then I also look at when was the campaign launched and when was the ad launched. So if this didn't generate a purchase since the 13th of November, here the 10th of November, here the 5th, I can just delete these out. Right? So you just want to be mindful of deleting ads out just because of your page limit, not because of performance. We do not turn off any ads because of performance anymore. And this is how you manage them. And ultimately, you'll have multiple campaigns in here for the same offers, basically. And this is how, and you increase the budget if they keep doing well, but you also keep adding new campaigns. And only if a campaign doesn't perform at all, right? So like here, these stopped performing and generating sales over a few days, and they also got too expensive, then you can turn it off eventually. But other than that, you keep testing and you keep adding your campaigns until you are at the desired spend with the desired cost. Do you know how conversion events are handled for a freemium school community? If somebody purchases a tier, does it also count as a conversion event that school can forward to Facebook? Yes, that's correct. So how it works is that you can decide with freemium community whether you want to optimize for complete registration or you want to optimize for the purchase. It's almost like a tripwire funnel, right? So when we're advertising a lead magnet and then we have a paid offer behind that, which is a very common funnel. People typically test optimizing for the lead event versus the purchase event because they want to see what's bottom line more profitable. Very often it will be actually optimizing for the sales event, although we have a free lead magnet, just because we attract a higher quality audience because of the conversion event we choose. But there are also the funnels where you optimize for the lead event and it's actually bottom line more profitable than optimizing for sales. When in doubt, I would start with the sales event, and only if that's too expensive, I would go down and I would optimize for the complete registration event. But because of the conversion API integration, you actually can do both with your school ads. When do you do the MECI personas for ads? Excellent question. So this is where this comes in. In the first one, we don't do the MECI personas for the ads. Let me actually add a couple of screenshots here so we know when we do which ones. So this is the ad that always works, is the initial setup, right? So this didn't change. This was like this before Andromeda and it's still the same. Right, so this is the same. We don't change this. Test new ads. This is where we have the Andromeda ads coming in, right? Because now we need to branch out into more personas, right? So it does make sense to state the obvious first and then expand into more personas. So this is when we're going in here. And we can play this game for a while, but then also once we have proven ads here too, it does make sense to put them into different formats. And let me give you a very specific, tangible example for this as well. So, for example, testing different angles. I found this winning avatar messaging. If you want to fill your school before you launch, I want you in this challenge, right? So this is when I realized I do have a lot of people that have hold up launching their school because they're concerned about how do I grow it, right? And this is when I was like, oh, there's an avatar, right? And there is an angle for this. Well, now I have to make ads for this avatar. But because in Growth Evelyn, yes, I did have some resources around growing your school, but I didn't have something specifically for this avatar to make them feel more launch ready, which I'm also working on more resources right now. I created something new to add and advertise that as a limited time bonus, which is the school branding kits. Right? So if you understand how these came to be, these are actually a variation of the other ad, right? Because if you look really close at the copy, make your school so pretty you can't keep putting off your launch. So it's thinking about the same person. Does that make sense? So you basically use the Andromeda to find your avatars, and then you make ads and tweaks to the offers for the avatars that work really well. So I'm going to also add these to the dashboard as well. Thank you. That's an excellent question. Right. So this was here when we test messaging, and then the messaging tests, they find winners that then inform our next ads and ideally also our community creation, right? So what's needed? What do people want from us? This is why I say running ads is one of the biggest opportunities to understand what people actually want from you, right? So this is an iteration of this ad. Right, and then here we just have, again, iterate and distribute. But this is basically breaking out. And of course, I can also now go into the different formats as well. So another one that I did was just a loom walking through, right? So this is another variation of then moving into different formats, right? Because I can also make, for example, for this avatar now, I can also walk them through the school launch kits that they get with a video, right? So it's basically the ad that always works, the very obvious about the offer, the angles, based on the angles, lean into what works, optimize your offer itself, and then make ads that show this optimized part of the offer. We also have in here, this is where it comes in. How do you advertise an offer from within your community? Right? So ideally your ads and the feedback inform your product development as well. So this is kind of the transition piece. To this here. Right? So it's not just an ad cycle, it's also a product development cycle. And you go into different formats as well. I still have a lot more opportunity breaking into different formats. I know that. But I've been a bit lazy and made a lot of images. Let me see. Does that help? Do you think the hook line only on an ad with no images would work well for an offer as a low ad? Yeah, it's my strongest ad right now, if you think about it, which is crazy. All right, so this was the workflow for the Andromeda ads, and I hope this helps. I have just one more thing that I want to share with you before I dive into the remaining pre-submitted questions. and that is my notes from the school event. As you know, I just came back from LA where I was at the school event and where I took a total of 4 pages of notes from the conversation that Sam Ovens and Alex Hormozi had. And I consolidated them to the notes that are really top of mind for me based on what Hormozi shared. Okay, so the first thing that was really amazing was to see that he actually also has a school community now. And he had some initial fears around that. And it was very cool to hear, that there were concerns and objections on his end as well. So his initial fears were around the recurring amount of work and the reputational risk, interestingly. And now he shared he was on the 4th billing cycle. That was 2 days ago, and their churn rate is 2.5% for a multiple $1,000s a month offer, which is amazing. And what he shared in there as well, what I want to talk you through in this video, is his idea of churn being a structural problem. So he also shared the promise perspective, and that we need to be extremely mindful on who we let provide value in our community. What also was top of mind for him was that he did sell without a sales team, and he wants to keep selling community without a sales team, which is so exciting because we do have low ticket and high ticket on school. And so far, almost all of the high ticket communities I've seen utilize the sales team, and it was very refreshing to get his view on it. So as he shared, the things that he does to make his school successful, they're hard in the beginning, but now they're really scalable. So that was kind of the main take was he's glad now that he has a community. He was concerned in the beginning mostly about the recurring amount of work and about his reputation. But because of the way he set it up, things are going really well right now. And he thinks community is a super highly scalable offer. Now, the other thing that I want to talk with you, or that I want to talk you through, is his thoughts around scalability. So he shared that he basically obsesses about making his offer scalable across the following dimensions: attract, convert, and deliver. So each of these components need to be infinitely scalable. Now, the first part that he talked through was how he thinks about making attraction infinitely scalable, and that is through media. So what he talked here about was to optimize for time on brand before the purchase decision. So people need a certain amount of info to make a decision. The more qualified they are, the less information they need. So if you think about it, the brand serves as a proxy for information prior to the purchase, right? So I don't know if you're in the boat, I'm in the boat. I bought the 5K offer. I bought it because it's Alex. I didn't even care about what it was. I got so much value upfront, kind of also knew how important the launch is for him. And I was like, this is my moment to say thank you for all of the free value I received. I also have personally received a lot of value. He's been on my podcast as a guest. I've learned so much from him, right? The school opportunity is there. So I was like, no matter what it is, I'm going to buy it. And I also know it's going to be so worth the money, right? And I knew this because his brand and what he has delivered through media at scale has been my proxy for the value that I expected from him. And so he also changed a little bit. And he also said that he will further focus on media and further focus on organic first, although I know that they're doing really great with ads. Because he said 5 years ago, about 10% of people you would have talked to in the space would have said that they're organic first. And now it's about 80%. And, having witnessed his launch also through an ad perspective, his ads basically were retargeting ads, which is so crazy, right? He has built such a large organic audience. And I think what people also need to understand, the numbers that they see on YouTube or on Instagram that are his followers, that's actually a much smaller percentage than his actual audience. A lot more people know who he is than people who follow him. So his actual organic audience is massive, and Meta knows it. So when our sales campaigns were going out, they were murdering because they were just basically re-reaching his warm audience. And if you've been in the space at least for any amount of time, you know that retargeting campaigns are typically the most profitable ones. So it was making sense that this was so successful, because basically all that his advertising is a retargeting engine. And so that really, made me think. And that's also why he invests so much in media, because organic media in general, is becoming more aggressive. And his vision is to be the Disney of business, with different shows that are also independent from himself, right? So thinking of scalability, right now he's key man for his media, and that has a risk in itself, and it has a limit in itself based on how much content he can produce in his current formats on his current channels. He also switched the way that he creates. And if you paid really close attention, I just changed how I'm doing these Q&As. I'm doing them by sharing what's top of mind and answering some questions for everyone before I jump into it, because I also want to adapt this approach. So basically what he does now is he live streams the recordings of his YouTube videos, and he adds the questions in between that help to enhance the content itself. You just saw me do this with Jackie's questions, right? So she was like, when are the Andromeda ad formats coming in? So I realized, oh, I forgot that explaining. So Jackie actually just made the video more valuable with this question, and she also made the board more valuable with her question. And so that is what he does with the live streams as well. And then the live streams are chopped up, thank you so much for joining, into the separate videos. So what's the big advantage of that is that, in general, he also said that the market always finds truth, and that production quality is almost commoditized at this point. So it's not setting you apart anymore. And so he goes towards more authentic and interactive content. So that's a check with the change of the strategy. He also produces another high leverage piece, right? So he goes live for 4 hours of content, check, like all in ones. And he has this interactive component as well, actually making the content better. So all of these are wins. And on top of that, it's a delivery that he enjoys more. And with that, it becomes more sustainable for him. With that, it's also a check. I remember another thing that he mentioned, and it wasn't in the live event, but it was probably in one of the videos, where somebody shared with him, I think it was the Super Bowl, and the TV personalities were walking in, and the audience would woo, go wild a little bit. Then the YouTubers would come in, and the audience would go even wilder, right, than the TV personalities. So they would be like, whoa. And then the streamers came in, and the audience would go nuts, like 10 times as loud as they were when the YouTubers came in. So in that moment, he also realized that the biggest audience connection is happening through the live streams. And we also see the market going into this direction. So it's also something that he's already adapting to. And I found this so helpful, and I could see the benefits of all points immediately, so that I also decided that I want to restructure my live streams into that, because there's so many benefits. And I believe that as he continuously doing that, he will also influence others in the space, and we will actually see more people switching to live stream chopped up into videos on the channel, moving a little bit more away from the polished, really, really well scripted videos. So that's what he is doing to scale more infinite in the attraction. It's mostly media. It's scaling his media through his own delivery, as well as through other formats, potentially even other people. It was very interesting that he shared that, and also that he's going all in on organic. That also made me think. So there was another thing that he shared. The second point was the conversion, right? So to make conversion more scalable, he actually wanted to get rid of his sales team. And what he shared there hit me so badly, because he was like, the fact that he's so good at growing sales teams actually hindered his growth, because he was over reliant on it. And when he said that, after he talked about media and how he is how 80% of people going for organic first, and the paid are basically becoming the retargeting for it, I was like, damn it, I'm so good at offer and ads that I limit my growth on brand because I deprioritize it, right? So I showed you guys my challenge tracker before, and you can see here that I started, in all of the areas, including YouTube. And then I deprioritized YouTube because my ads were going so freaking well, right? So I only zoomed in on the ads. But that's helping me in the short term, of course. But what it does long term for me is it prevents me from actually building out the media arc of my business so that my ads are actually just retargeting ads so that they actually have a lever on the CPMs and on the profitability, right? So ads are and offers are inherently an arbitrage opportunity. The only real lasting advantage you can have is brand lift. So I need to focus on brand lift a lot more, which is also why, I immediately adapted the live streaming strategy and want to make that work for my business. So YouTube consistency is not an optional for me anymore. And I realized that he had the same issue with sales teams, right? So it's like you're so good at it that it actually creates a constraint for you long term for where you want to go. So what he also said is that he doesn't want to say that sales teams are bad, just like I don't want to say growing with ads is bad, right? But he says that it's the money now button for your business, but you also want to have more money later thinking. So while we can push the money now button, we also want to make sure to say we're putting our long-term effort where it also brings long-term the most leverage. And so he put the constraint on himself for the community to grow his school without a sales team. And he said they have yet to figure out how that works, but of course, as he will figure it out, like he always does, he will also share it with people. Now, he said there's significant advantages to not having a sales team. So when you have a sales team, the reason why it's the money now button is because your salespeople pull people that are not ready for the purchase to the purchase. So people convert that actually have lower intent and that are less of a good fit for your community, which then ultimately also produces churn, right? So that was one of the things that made me understand how he thinks about churn as a structural issue. So if we have a sales team that pulls more people that are actually not fully ready yet, that like the intent has not grown within them, to the purchase, the likelihood of them churning is higher. Makes sense, I think. There's also a reputational risk with that, right? Because if you can brief your sales team, but for example, if they're very aggressive with the sales, because that's also their incentive structure, that ultimately can harm your reputation. And we see or I've seen people on school as well that have a great offer, but they have terrible feedback on Reddit, for example, because their sales teams are so freaking aggressive, right? And they might not even know about that and they might not be in control of that, at least before the damage is done. So it reduces the reputational risk to not have that. And then also the advantage of no sales team makes the conversion smaller, but you also have more capacity to drive people to see your offer. So ultimately, it is an offer-driven game if you don't have the sales team, especially if you don't have brand. So the less you have a sales team and the less you have a brand, the stronger your offer needs to be, right? And the stronger your brand, the weaker your offer can be, and the less you need a sales team, which again, then makes it understandable that his biggest focus is media, right? Because it literally is the one thing that solves all other problems. Now, he also said that the culture is moving away from people wanting to have sales calls and that people, at least the ones that are qualified, actually want to buy now, right? So we see people purchasing cars online without needing to talk to a person. So the more qualified somebody is, the less information they need. And again, brand serves as a proxy for that. So that's his goal for the conversion, is to basically build his brand and the value of the offer to a point where he can, and the traffic to a point where he doesn't need a sales team. And that was also one of the things that he said, is he has so much traffic that even if he has lower conversion rates, it still would work. So again, traffic is also top of mind for him there. Now delivery, and I thought that was so interesting. He said that the goal is that you are not the one providing value in a community, right? That makes sense. But I almost fell off my chair when he said that his onboarding video was telling people very aggressively to not ask questions in the community. And I was like, what? Are you allowed to do this? Like, what is this? Were people not freaking out about this? It's like, You only give value. If you give value to sell someone, we're gonna kick you out and you better not ask questions, right? So even Kirby was like, oh, this was very, very aggressive when I saw it the first time. But here's the thing, it worked. And now they have a really high quality community where he can perfectly deliver on his promise of one high quality workshop a month by him. And the other value is created really by the community because he seeded the culture in this way. And this is also why he says that churn is a structural problem, because you have to get the community right to actually make it valuable in itself. And you have to get your personal brand right so that even if you promise very little, that has such a high perceived and actual quality that people are super happy with you promising nothing, right? And then delivering something that's good, right? Because that's actually, he did say one workshop plus access to the community. He gave one workshop plus access to the community and, also some, over delivering, but none of that is promised. And with that, the price to value discrepancy is so high that his churn, even at the high price point, is 2.5 a month. Right? And again, it kind of goes back to really, really focusing on building your brand and media, because and maybe that's a limiting belief on my end, but I don't think people would have taken it from a lot of people, or maybe, I personally would have not had the guts to be to someone when they come in my community, be like, don't you dare ask questions. But because it's Hormozi and he provided so much value and we trust him, right? And we know that he means it good for us, we're like, okay, sir. Yes, sir. Right? So that influence is also an expression for how he has been doing media and how he has cultivated his brand. So that really made me understand that right now, the biggest thing I need to focus on is just making sure to get better and document the journey and carry that to organic media so that I ultimately also can build containers and infinitely scalable systems like this, because I've become the person. And it actually all starts with really mastering the media. But to master the media, you also have to be the person interesting enough. And ads, can help you grow to that point where where you've been in the position where you've made all of those relevant experiences, but you also need to translate into content. So that was my takeaway, my biggest takeaways from there. And yeah, I really love to see how he thinks this through. And I love it so much that he has a school community now, because you can see that, now he's kind of talking about the same things that we as community owners are talking about. And before he had his community, he was in the year of the games, we were talking about sales teams a lot. Now he has a community and he's like, well, sales teams suck. I might want to figure out how to do it without a sales team. And everyone will benefit from it because they will see, the learnings and hear about the learnings that he has and can translate them to their businesses. So very, very exciting stuff. It was a really great event. All right, so let me catch up a little bit. What's happening here with you right now? Thomas, hi. I reached 243 members, but not sure how to convert them. Now trying to activate them, but only a handful of them are active. I don't love to sell them my current trainings, or they need new stuff. Thomas, don't you want to try to tier it and to get maybe people in with a free trial? I know that you want to give people time to figure it out, but I do think there needs to be some sort of limited time bonus to have a conversion event. So what you can do, Thomas, in the beginning of today, I talked about how to make special limited time offers without creating something new. So if you want to revert back to that and look at the ideas from the original call and maybe go through and make a hypothesis around what could be a good one for your community, I can definitely see in the closeout offer, maybe annual offer or lifetime deal offer. I think those might be really good for you to check out. So I would go probably to the beginning of the session and think about those. Then same for you, Sabine. How do we work out what cost per purchase we should go? For example, 7 versus 33 per month direct to school. So when in doubt, you want to say my presumed average order value is just the cost of my front end offer, right? And so, for example, if you have a $7 community, you would optimize for $7 cost per trial. And even in a target cost campaign, I would not go lower than $4 then, for example, for the cost per trial. So when in doubt, take 1 month the cost of your membership, because ultimately we're also optimizing for a payback period of 1 month. I stopped my ads as the workshop is not available in a free tier and like to create an ad which converts sales instead of free signups. Need a new VSL, I think, for that. Yeah, that sounds good. And I would still think about potentially just having it as tiers. Where in a classroom would I go to learn the step by step? So, what I just talked about before when you asked this question was the ad setup. So, for you, you can either start with the traffic challenge, right? So, I think for everyone who wants to drive traffic, going through the traffic challenge and then just going through the days, because it also has the ad component, is a great option. And if you don't want to do that, then I would just go for the ads crash course step by step. That's even quicker. And if you just want to run ads, this is the protocol for it that gets you all the way until the first ad. And from there, it's the workflow that I just showed you. Yay, thank you. Yeah, concentrate on organic, absolutely. And no, or not sacrifice it just because paid is going well. I'm glad to hear that. I'm not sure whether I'd be brave enough to do a target cost campaign. So does that mean I'd never do Misi personas? You should also do Misi personas for your high volume campaign. The ad creatives themselves are the very same in the high volume campaign as well as in the target cost campaign. For the target cost campaign, you also don't have to be afraid. Just make sure it's a day where you can monitor it well when you start it. Set it up in the evening, turn it off over the night, so for sure it can't spend, but it can process and go live right away. Turn it on in the morning and keep checking it every 30 minutes or so, right? And it will typically only spend when it can get you a purchase around the target cost, right? Thank you for sharing. So you'll combine the membership Q&A with the public YouTube live streams, or will they be separated? How do you think about this structure-wise? So I will do one live stream per week, and I will basically take it down after the live stream and have the Q&A for the members and chop up the front trainings into videos that I then either will make public or keep as trainings for the community. So I will pick and choose based on where I need the things right now. I'm so glad to hear that. Don't ask questions. Yeah, I was like, is he allowed to do that? I kind of want to call the police. It's like, we're not allowed to ask questions. But yeah, he made the right call. It's so, and I think this is so valuable, right? Being in the space of people that are so far in the journey is like, you would have never thought like that, right? So I think that's, for me, it's a lot. Also, when working with Sam for the school ads, I'm like, oh, I was not allowed. Like, I didn't know we were allowed to think like that. But it just makes so much sense. So I'm learning so much, but just witnessing, how do they think and what limiting beliefs. The tricky thing about limiting beliefs is that you don't know that you have them. And it is just these blind spots that you only can reveal as you start to compare your thinking to others. And you're like, huh, interesting. Right. And obviously, you also need to look at your own values and your own vision of what you want to build. But it's very interesting to have that trigger point where your blind spots are at least revealed. And then you can make a conscious decision versus being driven by it. I know. But there's a way to combine it with being valuable for your community, right? Yeah, I don't think it really worked. That community is great and the value was great right away, but it seems it died out. Which community do you mean, Mark? Okay, wow. Yeah, I've not joined the community itself. I bought the 5K offer. Thank you so much. Okay, so we're done. We're done with the top of mind. I want everyone to know about this stuff. So now let's get actually into the pre-submitted questions, okay? So all right, so Lauren, need to start time stamping my answers as well. Just give me 1 second, getting the link. All right, so lovely, Lauren. I'm answering around the 1 hour and 45-minute mark. Let me actually share the screen so people can watch with us. My current situation is I think my pixel tracking messed up when tiers came in before I implemented them. You can see the trend in my tracker is so weird. I removed my pixel and re-added it 4 days ago, and my ad results shot back up after 3 weeks of low performance. Tentatively, it's looking good again, and my payback period either side of the blip is around 3 months. I've been running ads for a few months and haven't wanted to scale them while I only had a $9 tier. The side situation, I'd love to get a better payback period so I can start scaling the ads. My problem, I have always struggled to sell the higher tier in a funnel, and even now it's been live 2 weeks as a tier. I haven't had any signups. I think it's potentially one of two things. The mini has always seemed significantly more valuable, and I'm targeting a more beginner seller. Those who join my higher tier membership do tend to be further in their Etsy journeys, but I think this $9 tier comes across as mainly for beginners, so puts people off. My question, how can I position the tiers so the upgrades are a no-brainer? Do you think I need to take things out of the $9 or for future signups, maybe scale it back to a challenge, my $9 option offer, and a community and Q&A? Side note, I launched a VIP tier as a 33 and a 33 and had 7 signups. Woo-hoo-hoo! So your middle tier is what's unattractive here. From existing long-term members, oh, okay. I plan to put up the price to 430, then switched it off for a couple of weeks because I thought it was tanking my conversion rate, but I'm going to launch it again this week for my Black Friday. Yeah, I found that if I have the higher tier if I have the premium too expensive, people don't necessarily sign up for it. Okay, so let's check your tracker. And let's see your about page as well. Okay, so month 1 cash flow. Okay, so we have relatively high churn here, even in the lower tier. RPU, okay. Yeah, so average order value is a problem here. And I would agree that it's an offer structure issue. Okay, so we have build and grow your Etsy shop with step-by-step lessons, scale shop blueprint, micro-win lessons, live Q&A. Okay. Personalized weekly tailored shop reviews. Yeah. So it seems like they don't feel like they need the personalized support. Because when I look at this, I feel like this is all personalized support. What I would expect in here is, things like learn Etsy ads, email marketing to make sales, social media to make sales, right? So here I would, if I would test this, the next hypothesis that I would make is starting, setting up, and then here full focus on the marketing. This feels redundant to what's here. And for me, the highest conversion was at 50% off on the annual. Yeah, so what I would put in here would be done for you resource vault, the more advanced trainings, like, email, all kinds of traffic and marketing stuff. I would have the calls in here. So no calls. So here I would just have this one, probably just two. Yeah, so I would take this out and I would just have the community in here. And I would condense this to 3 points. Here, this I would put on marketing traffic and I would have the calls. I would just frame it as call and support. And then in here, I would probably try to aim for, now we can't do 50% savings, but it's almost there. And I would give probably buyout license for done for you resources, if you have done for you resources in there, which I would consider including. That's how I would structure it, love. All right, so that was answered. Here, now next up we have Leah, and I'm answering around the 1 hour 51 minute mark. Okay, my current situation is I have the Nervous System Journaling Club with 219 paying members for $7 a month, 144 are yearly at 59 on School, and I also have my $129 per month Connections membership hosted separately, which I'd like to move into School and reformat, change pricing, positioning, etc. I've paused ads to the Nervous System Journaling Club for now, currently only running ads to freebie. So still building my list and also positioning before turning any ads back on to the Nervous System Journaling Club. I also not sure the whole Nervous System Journaling Club is the right angle. So as I offer so much more. Yeah. Journaling and doodling are creative ways, but I feel like it's limiting and maybe not really representative of what I offer or do what I want to grow. I find people who come in the club are looking for nervous system support more than journaling, and I want to build my membership around nervous system tools, creative and evidence-based. My desired situation, a nervous system focused ecosystem where the overall membership community is the focal point, with a clear path that takes people from awareness to practice to deeper transformation. I want the membership to sit at the center of the business model, support strong and consistent MRR. I'd love to have the mini membership to build awareness and then build up connections as my VIP membership and include AI related tools, hence why I'm in the AI certification. My problem with School now offering tiers, I'm unsure what structure makes the most strategic sense. I'm wondering whether to introduce a freemium tier with my main. Don't go freemium, my love. Freebies that I'm running ads to, nervous system stress test or nervous system clarity page PDF. So that host them inside the School community to drive engagement and warm people into paid tiers. It will be very hard because people know that they need help, but they procrastinate on it. So there needs to be a trigger point for them saying, yes, I want this. But I know you're not a fan of freemium tier, but I wondered if there would be benefits to getting them into my world and introduce them even with my journal there. Or would you build out free tiers? I would build out free tiers for sure. My question is, what are your thoughts on repositioning the club? Yes. Yes, I love that because, like you said, it's unnecessarily narrow. What tier structures and pricing strategy would you recommend to move forward, including whether a freemium tier is doable in my case or whether a free tiered paid structure would be more effective? So wondering about my whole membership positioning, tiers, pricing. Thank you. Okay, so I do think that Connections needs its separate community if you want to keep the price there, right? And I think it does make sense to launch it as well. Now, what I would recommend for the Nervous System Journaling Club, and in general, when we have a membership, we know something is not super right about the positioning. The best thing we can do is actually grow it through offers we're making inside of the membership and advertising them, right? So you've seen me doing this in this club, right? So where I added different offers as hypothesis and I would pull them into ads on the front end. So you even have this in, thank you so much, welcome. You even have this in here, right? So these were ads that were going directly into the community, right? So that's how you want to shape the community. Of course, you can also run ads directly to it and keep changing the about page and the video, etc. But the most effective way is actually to listen to your members, create the thing that you see based on also your ad messaging tests and the interactions in your community. This is what people want, and then pull that out as ads, right? So I've also done this here for Grow with Evelyn with the school brand kit, right? So it was not my intention to develop in this direction, but it was obvious from the ads that I ran, right? And now it's another campaign going into the community, and as you can see, actually contributing quite a bit of purchases. So I would shape the community with one offer you create for your audience at a time. And I think it's potentially worth testing for you to have a nervous system challenge as well. Because people tend to procrastinate, but they also know that they need to eventually do something. So, if we have a 7-day befriend your nervous system challenge, that you can also have lead into your journal on Amazon, etc. And that becomes your lowest tier. I think that's at least worth trying as an attraction offer, right? That would be my first next hypothesis would be, let's try befriend your nervous system challenge and let's see how strong that is with the ads. And you can even do it with a 7-day free trial. So then you have, technically, because you can also collect the emails, that's your freebie right there. That's your freemium right there that you want. So let me just put this. So one offer at a time. The next one that I would do is befriend your nervous system challenge. First 7 days knowledge with the 7-day free trial, right? Seven-day free trial, and it leads into the journal as well as into the regular community, right? So continue 28 days. Now here is where I would see basically what the challenge, how engaged the challenge is, etc. I would either way grandfather all the existing people in, but then you could think about making the current one a little bit higher priced. And I'm thinking something like $19 a month, where you also have the, additional calls. Here you could have a monthly live workshop, and here workshop replays, or just the live workshop or workshop replays, right? So this is the little bit meatier one, and then I would have VIP, and that is former connections. And there I would probably have comes with its own community. That's probably what I would try to work out, but there's a lot of question marks because it's like, will this be the attraction offer that hits? Your main bottleneck, my love, still is what is your attraction offer that hits? And I also want to link this for you. To find it out will be, run an offer to an offer inside of your community. So that's where we want to be focused on. So my thing would be, challenge probably would be one that I try next. Because it can also give like that sense of urgency and the sense of, I get something done. Other things, I would probably go and see what's selling in Inside Factory. And again, go for the more tangible things. I think there's potentially like a disconnect between the nervous system regulation cheat sheet, flashcards. Yeah, like a special workshop to a certain topic. And I think you can even, for example, in my community, the money topic was really, really popular. Nervous system around money, for example, would be a great fit, right? So thinking about what are hot topics people are interested anyways, that you could make your workshops about and then, branch them out basically. Just like you also saw me doing it in the role model lab. That would be the way to go, I believe. Thanks, Evelyn. I just updated these tiers. I submitted this last week and couldn't. My apologies. I struggle with that done for you resource to include since I work with digital and physical sellers. But there can be maybe delivery sheets. There can be done for you marketing resources. Even physical product sellers might need some of those things done for you. Email templates. I'd probably think along these lines. Thoughts on bringing pre-K prep club over to school? I'm a huge school fan, but I'm also trying to understand what problem are we solving. Is it to get into school discovery and tap into the network internal traffic? That would make sense. But then I would probably validate it before I would move everything over. And my question would be, could you do something smaller that we can start with? Like, so for example, just a, done for you games hub. And it just starts like, with our done for you activities hub. And you just start that. We try to advertise that. And then we gift it to your members as well. So they start to familiarize themselves with school. And if it makes sense, we consolidate. I'd probably roll this out in stages, and I would make sure that I'm validating that I can get the traffic from school before I would move everything over. My Q&A is mainly used by my $9 members, so I worry about it being redundant if I take it away from them. Interesting. What you can do as you change this is you can grandfather your current members into the Q&A. And then for future members, you don't give it anymore. So that way you always have enough momentum on the Q&A. But you also see you actually would create an upgrade environment if that's the thing that they mostly use. And I don't think that the Q&A is the reason that they sign up. It's probably the reason that they stay, and it's what they appreciate. But I've yet to see a Q&A being the main reason people sign up. So I would test that. Because you have to differentiate, right? Conversion rate versus retention. So I'm not saying take anything away from existing members, but I'm saying test it on the about page if it's necessary for the conversion. And if not, grandfather the existing members in, nothing changes for them. But then you have actually a natural upgrade environment after, and something that's so high perceived value that it's worth upgrading for people too. Free challenges are everywhere now. I'm building one for my hair loss community right now. I did not know you have a hair loss community, but that's such a cool one for a challenge, for sure. Community engagement and discovery. Yeah. I would go with validating it, right? And really thinking of like a sub niche of printables or activities that you can do. And then as we start to see the sales, etc., you surprise your community, or you can always say to them, hi guys, please don't buy this, because as members you get access, right? So that way you can also combine it with a promo. But I would make sure it sells to cold traffic first, so we can really push it up in the rankings as well. Alrighty, so next up we have Iris, and Iris already shared today that her page is not necessarily converting. But I just want to make sure I'm answering around the 2 hour and 5 minute mark. Okay. My launch for my Christmas cookie workshop is over. It went well with 225 leads for 70 cents and 28 course sales. Great work. However, the sales came from my whole list. That's why I'm not sure if the ROAS is right with 16.85. Ad spend was 178 and total sales including split pays was 3,236. Amazing. I like to also see it like this, that either way we have to add these leads during launches to our list, because even if a lot of the sales were coming from existing people on the list, how did those people get on the list, right? So we need to keep growing our list so that future launches are also set up for success. So really proud of you. Fantastic work. I had 549 registrants for the workshop. In the middle of the workshop, I had 154 live attendees, which is fantastic. But quite a few left after they got the information they wanted and when my pitch started. Is that normal? Yes, especially in B2C. I answered their questions after the pitch, and they also received a workbook afterwards. So still so many left. That's completely fine. Last year I sold 36 courses with only 174 leads. I'm content with the launch, but I wonder why it did not convert the way it did last year. Do you think it's because of the economic situations gotten worse? I do think people are more careful, for sure. Now I will pitch my Zimtsterne course, $7 to my list, with an upsell to the Christmas cookie course for 97 instead of 127. Would you give this offer for 48 hours? For 48 hours, yes. I will also start the Zimtsterne course today. Any other recommendations? Okay, so I think you did a really good job. What we see in general is that there's just more competition online and more people have been burned before, and people are less enthusiastic about digital offers right now in general. So you still did an amazing job. I think the call is also to say, let's keep growing your ads with your list with self-liquidating offers, and let's keep nurturing your audience so we can keep having these launches in this way. Now, you also shared today that your ads to the Zimtsterne course were not working the way they did last year. So if the clicks were good and people knew exactly what it costs and the sales page was the issue, try to shorten your sales page. So we see a trend towards really, really minimal sales pages. On School, they also tested it extensively, right? The about page in its super simple form is more converting than in a complex form. So try to send them directly to a checkout as well. And also try to add more ad variations, because with the Andromeda update right now, they have also rolled out they have started to further enforce page ad limits, because people just upload more ads right now because they realize that the hyper-specific ads are doing really, really well with Andromeda. So you have a lot of competition right now. Plus, also what you want to try is set up the campaign from scratch again and do it every single day. Every single day, wait for 24 hours until it generates a purchase or not, and then turn it off again. The initial conditions of the campaigns are really, really important right now. So try to have short testing cycles and test the campaign at least 3 to 5 times to see if you're getting into the right segment of the audience, right? Because targeting completely changed. And now the creative is the targeting. And like I said in the beginning today, if you just happen to get into a bad audience bucket, it could be that you just, you get lower quality traffic to your page, even though, thank you for joining, you optimize for sales. So restart the campaign. At the same time, also try sending them directly to checkout, right? So first thing I would do is restart the campaign a couple of times. You have today, restart it, wait 24 hours. Tomorrow evening, restart it, wait 24 hours. If you still have the same experience, no purchases, restart again, but this time send them into shorter checkout, right? And then ultimately also try more ad variations based on the Andromeda update as well. I would not give up on these ads right now because you still have, this window in time, and the course itself sold well. So at least try it 2 more times, restarting the campaigns, and then 2 times with the short checkout, and then 1 sophisticated attempt with more ad variations based on the Andromeda ad setup. All right, so next pre-submitted question I have from Joe Mack, and I just quickly need to have a sip of coffee. My current situation is I have a $9 per month community around body transformation from within for women only, helping women move beyond diet culture. Right now, I'm focused on growing this group and refining the experience. My desired situation is to increase my membership and create a tiered structure that supports more profound transformation while still keeping my entry offer accessible. I'm also considering adding a group coaching element to the tier. My problem is I want to use meta ads to grow once I decide on the tiers, but I worry about compliance issues because my messaging can reference the body, weight, or health. So structuring the tiers has to be intentionally thought through first. My question is, would you suggest keeping the $9 entry price, reducing the content, and having a premium mid-tier coaching program? I don't feel aligned offering a free tier to $7 trial. Also, would you suggest a more organic way to reach new members than meta ads? Okay, so lots of questions in there. Let me just make sure I'm time-stamping my answer. I am answering around the 2-hour and 12-minute mark. Okay, so my love, let me actually check your about page to see what we're talking about. Oh, thank you so much. I'm only live streaming here on YouTube, so no other places for now. Might come. All right, thank you so much. So let's check out your community, Joe, and see how concerned we have to be about the messaging. Soul powered sisterhood, guiding you beyond quick fixes, Monday resets, and limiting self-talk, supporting you to feel aligned and at home in your skin. Would not see any compliance issue whatsoever here. Get your 5-day freedom and flow activation included when you join. Explore practice to feel clear, supported, and flow to navigate Monday resets. Yes. Honestly, I don't think you would have an issue with meta ads here whatsoever. Because, you're not showing before, after body, you're not promoting, like you're not explicitly saying weight loss, you're not saying, you're not addressing them specifically, you talk about the offer. So the way that this is framed, I would not even be concerned being put in the health category. Although you can still probably navigate this a little bit better. But this probably won't even get you into the health restrictions on Meta. So the first check that I can give you is, if it's along these lines, I don't think we are getting into issues here from the messaging perspective. Now, what's a bit challenging though is to say we decide on tiers before we decide on ads, because the first thing you really have to figure out when running ads is what's your attraction offer, right? So what's the entry point? I think because you already start to have a challenge here, it's worth testing that. And just before you add tiers, even say, am I able to run ads at, $15 to $25 cost per purchase to the challenge offer itself? If that's a check, then you can say, okay, $9 is the challenge plus the community. And then you have the higher tier where it's like going deeper, where you add the calls, where you add additional courses. And then the group coaching is something that I would always deliver the coaching in a separate community to create the safety. So you can sell it in here, but I would deliver it in a separate space. So start a second hobby community and then deliver the group coaching experience there. I think before you decide on the tiers, try to validate the front-end offer, because that's the big next step. And you will have to probably tweak the front-end offer and how you talk about it and what you include multiple times. But once that's set, you basically look at your plate and you're like, what's left to group? And then you can arrange the other tiers. I wouldn't do it the other way around. And I think ads is your tool to have that clarity and that breakthrough, because when you can sell it to cold audience, you can sell it. I would keep the $9 for now. I would try advertising the challenge offer. And based on those conversions, I would decide on the other tiers. And you don't have to combine the challenge with the free trial. It's a great opportunity for you to potentially increase conversions, right? And I want to say that I have not had any bad experience with the free trial. At least in this setup, I had bad experience with free trial before. But you don't have to offer it, right? You can just see, okay, at $9 straight, what do I need to offer for people to come in and to choose it? It's probably the angle for the challenge. I don't know your market enough, but it's probably, it has to be like a super specific thing that they struggle with. So one example that I want to give you is, there's this creator. She's also on school. I'm a fan because she's on YouTube and she just has like the funniest humor. I think she's called Madeline Hassan. Yeah, love her content. Fantastic. Her whole shtick is like, I need to eat volume, right? Otherwise I'm sad, Maddie. And I'm like, I get that. And so she basically shows you how to build these like high volume meals. And so, for example, a really great challenge for her would be, 9-day high volume meal building challenge, where every day you learn how to build these high volume meals in accordance to your goals, right? So it is a fitness weight loss challenge in her case as well, but it's very much tied to like a unique mechanism, like how she does things, right? And so I would say, like, what's your unique mechanism, and really focusing the challenge in on that. If you think about it, I kind of do it as well with my school traffic challenge. I just add the other things that are complementary to my ad traffic in the challenge as well, and they function as objection handlers for people who do not feel ready to run ads. But what's like your unique mechanism? You really need to make it about that. That would be the first thing that I would try to nail, would be the unique mechanism for that challenge, and make the challenge convert to cold traffic. Okay, so next up we have Dimitra. And I'm answering around the 2-hour and 19-minute mark. My current situation is I have a free group that I'm thinking about turning into freemium. I already had a paid language membership that costs 47 a month, and most people join this membership using my quarterly 127 or semi-annual 235 option. When I had monthly and annual only, no one signed up for annual. It was 470. My desired situation is to introduce tiers and bring my payments to school. I also had a dream of having a very low cost tier that is currently not happening. My problem is I don't know what to do about the fact that most people use the quarterly or semi-annual option to join my current membership. My question is, should I leave the higher cost membership sign up where it is and introduce a lower cost tier here in school? If I do that, then my affiliates wouldn't be able to benefit as much. Thank you. Oh, that's such a good question. And it's one that's actually hard to answer because I don't know the renewal rates of your quarterlies and semi annuals. Because, if they keep renewing, then we can potentially destroy a lot of value if we move over and we change the price. Because school also will not change the billing intervals for sure. So we have 127 or 235. 49 is already a little bit on the higher end. But you also want to consolidate it. So the problem is you will never get the payments over clean. And you also know that you struggle to convert at that price point. So if you want to have it on school, you'd have to test your way up to what's the tolerable monthly price. And you also know that annual doesn't convert at 497, so you probably also have to drop the price for the annual. So my question really is, do you need to take school payments? Because then you have to figure it out and you have to recoup the money you lost based on lowering the price through volume. Yeah. So if you want it on school, at first figure out the low ticket attraction offer, right? So how do I grow profitably from ads? And then I would add tiers here, and then I would consolidate it. It's a bit similar to what I said to Kathy. There's no point in bringing this over to school before you've not validated that you can sell it to cold traffic. Otherwise, you're just gonna destroy value and create a growth constraint for you. So let's think about what that mini tier could look like. Maybe it can be challenge based, right? Maybe it can be based on workshops or mini courses. But I would make first. I would go through the school in the school community, and I would watch this part about attraction offers, and I would think about which one, in which form do you want to test for school, and then I would focus on selling that with paid traffic to cold audience directly. Once you've cracked this, then you can confidently move things over and move things around. Before that, there's only big potential to destroy value, which I wouldn't, do. And the freemium upgrade also can be hard. The only thing I can think of is that you use the freemium group and then they upgrade to these things in the classrooms, and then you manage them manually so you can collect payments through school classrooms. But that's not really a well-oiled machine to grow. So I would say first, let's try to figure out the low ticket offer on school that you can really grow on autopilot with the ads. And then we move over the rest. If I change from freemium to tiers and add my current free members to the lowest level, will they go on to the 7-day free trial and then have to pay, or can they get free for life protected? Yeah, they will always get free for life protected. You cannot make them pay by changing their tier, and they also will not get into a trial. Alrighty, next question we have. So, Dimitri, I'm sorry that I don't have a better answer here for you, but I really think before you don't have a mechanism to sell consistently and reliably on School, moving over your payments would just cost you. So if your priority is to get on School, which there's a lot of reasons for it, then your priority needs to figure out the attraction offer for School. All right, next up we have Greg, and I'm answering around the 2-hour 25-minute mark. All right, so the question is, I currently have a School community with quite a bit of content in it. This year I have had 20 members sign up and all pay me 2,800 Australian dollars upfront over Stripe. I call it a mentorship. The current model is for them to go through the content step by step, and if they need me for anything, they hit the voice message button on Facebook Messenger and I get back to them within 24 to 48 hours or sooner. I also have group calls a week, but those are hit and miss. Some days there is no one person and others there's 4 people. The people I have been helping are getting awesome success, helping them start their disability businesses and attract clients and being a mentor for them to bounce any industry questions related. I'm not unsure what my desired situation is just yet. As the $2,800 one of payment is very helpful, it's just a bit of effort to sell by chat and get people over the line. You also have a very specific niche and seems like you have great results. So that sounds great. My problem is I live in Australia and I want to implement your training and send people straight to the About page, but School does not allow Australian dollars, and I'm concerned that Australian dollars will not likely pay US dollars, as this is what I've been told by other School members. I also feel like I need to make this cheaper, as I would love to have 1,000 people in here, as the upsell is actually a website design. I currently sell over Stripe and give access manually. My question is, should I bite the bullet and open up the group to all at say 33 US dollar price and do a Q&A like you and then upsell for the $2,800 mentorship? And how do I make it so a premium member are the only one that can access the group calls? Okay, excellent. So a few things in here. First thing is you have something that's working. So as Sam says it's like minimal invasive surgery to what you have that's working. So for you, probably the better thing to look at is to say, where are my leads coming from and how can I just triple the volume of my leads, right? So is there a way to use ads to just increase your lead flow? Because that might be a really, really good idea then. Or do you just like look them up and cold outreach DM them? So that would be like the first thing that I would say is like, what is happening for your leads and can you not just increase this? When it comes to charging for School, next year will be languages and currencies. So I would just wait moving it over to School until you can actually charge in the current in the currency of your country. So I would just hold up with this one. Now, when it comes to creating a group and making it $33, since you have a high ticket upsell, having a low ticket community can massively constrain your growth, right? So ultimately, if your goal is to get 1,000 people in the 2,800 and it's already selling and you get results, it's much better for you to make a free community, to really use it as a lead generation community. And it's probably, when you look at your lead generation right now and you're looking into a way to scale it and you're set that you want to do it on School, which, all of these are, is this really the right choice for you? Is this really the right choice for you? Is this really the right choice for you, right? Just because, I can help you on School does not mean, everybody should do School, because it seems like you really have something going that's working. So I would be like, okay, where are my current leads coming from? How can I double, triple the lead flow, right? Nothing else needs to be done. If I believe that I can get more, then the first thing I would probably consider is a free school community and see how I can grow that and how I can upsell into the current offer. Nothing changes from there. And then next year, as the school rolls out the local currencies, then I would test the switch, right? But then at least you already have your lead gen sorted and you know what to expect there, and you're going, and that's certain, as you dabble and test other things. So always test front to back. Start with asking where your leads are coming from and how you can double, triple, quadruple that number. And if there is an opportunity to do that in a free school community, I would do that. I would not constrain it by making it a paid community. That does not make sense to lead into a high ticket. All right, so that's completely fine. And if you're unsure about a functionality as well, in the scholars community, you can also ask, right? So if you're concerned about a specific technical thing that they would miss, or ask in our community, so we would see, what is the holdup. Then we can always help you with that. All right, next up I have Kathy, and I'm answering around the 2-hour 31-minute mark. Just quickly need to tag Kathy. Okay. My current situation is Frank and I have been following the Andromeda strategy, adding 50 new creatives every other day. As we continue the process, we unexpectedly hit a page level ad limit during our Black Friday promo after the first set of 50 creatives trying another round of 50 for round 2. My desired situation is to have clarity on how to move forward so our current campaigns can continue running smoothly, and to understand how to avoid running into limits in the future for promotional periods. My problem is that our meta page limits is 250 ads, which resulted in overlimit alerts and numbers of undeliverable ads. This paused our ability to keep adding creatives, and we're unsure whether this is normal, a setup issue, or something related to the account spend or structure. My question: what is the recommended next step when an ad account reaches the page ad limit, and how should we adjust the Andromeda strategy so we can continue scaling without running into this barrier again? Here's my optional post with screenshots. Okay, so I already touched on this today and yesterday in the target cost campaign setup. This is because Meta is getting so much inventory from creators now that they actually have to enforce page ad limits, right? So it's happening left and right now. And here we can see, right? So you'll get a message like this and an ad limit reached for the page. What you want to do is, I just had it happen yesterday as well. You want to go into all of your old campaigns that are deactivated, right? And all of the campaigns you don't need anymore, you want to delete the ads. This campaign, I actually still want to. Oh, I already cleaned it up. Then I can delete those as well. This is old. So we can delete it. So we delete all of the old campaigns that are not active anymore. And the ones where we have not pulled ads over, we just document the performance. And then we delete out all of the ads that didn't generate a purchase. So I already did that in here. Now I can come in here. And then I would give it at least 7 days of it ran before I delete it, right? So this definitely ran long enough. These didn't run long enough. This ran long enough. This I just launched. This one ran long enough. This one ran long enough. This one ran long enough. Long enough. right? So you get the idea. So you look at all of the ones that have been running long enough but didn't generate purchases, and you delete them out. So that's just how you keep the account clean. And when you test more and more ads, this is what you'll have to do. And once, so you always keep your limit running as well. And once you have purchases everywhere, then you just need to consolidate into the ones that have the most purchases. But as you increase your spend, your ad limits also go up, right? So there's also accounts that have 5,000 ads limit. So it really depends on how much you're spending as well. Hi, Evelyn. Thank you for your feedback. I'm running a Black Friday ad with 3.3 conversion CTR, but conversions are low, under 1%. I optimized my page. What do you suggest I focus on? The offer, my love. It's typically the offer. So, and that obviously correlates with your page as well. So I would go through this course actually and see, can I improve my attraction offer? Five days of freedom. I find this a little bit hard to read. Yeah, and the challenge itself, specificity typically helps, right? So can you make a challenge that has a lot, like a really, really focused outcome, something that feels like, oh, I can do this, if it's just like the patterns challenge, right? So if it's just food pattern challenge, food and the eating patterns, right? Recognize and adjust your eating patterns, right? So I would say, and I'm not saying that that's the winning angle, but you have to test it with the ads as well to see what's coming through, and then zoom in the positioning of your challenge. I do have this. We have in Grow with Evelyn the mini offer scorecard. And if you go through this, my love, it actually gives you a pretty good idea for the criteria that I'm looking at when I try to turn an offer from a butter knife into a razor blade. So I'm going to link this for you, and you can use it as a tool to rate your current offer as well. So the biggest one is thinking about your offer and tweaking it. How long do you keep a lead from up? My cost per lead is 63 cents, and it's for a free workshop. As long as I am satisfied with the cost per lead and want to keep growing my list, right? So whenever I run ads, I typically used to allocate a smaller spend to growing my list. Right now, I'm just moving my list over to Flowdesk, and I've paused all of my lead generation campaigns. But eventually, once it's on Flowdesk and better segmented, I'm going to turn them back on. So ideally, it's like something that you have always going to grow your list at least at a small flame, right? $5 a day, let it chip away. Sounds like a really good cost per lead, especially for a workshop where they then also spend time with you. Only thing is that I like to restart lead generation campaigns also once in a while, so every 2 to 3-ish months, just so that the quality of the lead doesn't deteriorate. Thank you, love. All right, so 2-hour 38-minute mark. Let's check the next one. Monica. Okay, Monica's question is, should I turn the ads off? Also, my 1K to 7 cost campaign is not coming out of the learning stage, so not sure where to turn it off. here are my stats. Let me just see if I actually see your stats in here. My desired situation is higher ROI. I've been adding ads every few days, and when I've increased ad spend, my ads crash, as you can see from the spreadsheet. I feel I should turn off my ads as I'm not getting one ROI and need higher priced product. Right now, I have these three that are converting: the stop emotional eating, leading into cravings cure, and then we have an order bump. Any thoughts on what I should share for December, January? Time poor right now, as I work 8 to 5 in HR job, which is helping me to invest in ads. I have time 1 to 2 sessions a week to do full hypnosis. I can also shift the funnel and start with breath work and then move into a similar funnel and test that perspective. Okay, so let's look at the ads and let's see what's going on there. Okay. Let me just make a copy to see the take rates. And what's the profit right now? Well, you're breaking even across, but it seems like the upsell offer is not a monthly recurring revenue offer, right? I think I remember this page. Craving reset. Oh yeah, this price is too low for the bump. Which makes it really hard. And then we have the second bump. Have you tested making them 17 and 27? Or, at least 12 and 22? So I would test price increases on the bump if you haven't yet. I would also test adding images to the bumps. And then we have the OTO page. Is this a monthly recurring? It seems like it's a one-time offer. It's actually selling not too bad. I'd probably try to have this or for free when joining the membership and have this lead into a continuity, because you're almost breaking even if you look at this. You're really close to breaking even. All you need is a recurring. So it's a perfect self-liquidating offer funnel. You just need to get into a recurring. That's it. That will be my focus before I change it to anything else. And then the bump prices, play with them. And then, of course, you can add an up or down sell as well. But the biggest one would be to potentially have a recurring offer here. And then I do think there's still opportunities. I've not been, I don't know if you saw this, I've not been able to click your stats or anything in here for the ads. So I've not seen the actual ads, just a spreadsheet here. But I have a hunch, there's, even on the sales page, there might still be things we can do to improve the conversion rate. So maybe adding a video, testing shorter versions, sending them directly into checkout. So there's different things we can still test. Here, the different price points and adding the images. And then on the upsell page, giving an option of into recurring. Those will be the biggest things that I would look at. And for the ads themselves, because I've not seen them, there might also still be lever in the messaging. So I would keep testing. But the biggest unlock is if you can lead them into recurring, of course. All right, so next up we have Jamila, and I'm answering around the 2 hour and 46-minute mark. Okay, the question is, my current situation is I launched my school community and have 117 members. Congratulations. My desired situation is I would like to get members engaged, add value, and start monetizing. My problem is only a few members have posted, and it's mainly been as comments, not creating their own posts. My question is, how do I get members to start creating their own posts? How often should I be posting in a group? And what do I say to spark engagement? I want to host a workshop in December to get people to upgrade to paid. Is 170 people enough to promote the paid tiers? Okay, amazing questions. So the first thing is getting members to create their own posts is a lot easier once you have allies, right? So when you go in and connect in the traffic challenge under the allies post and get your allies to commit to also post a couple of times in your community, then you have 2 allies, each posts a couple times a week, is 4 days covered, and then you post 3 to 4 days a week, is new post every single day. And then your members will see your questions and they can just follow your lead and basically will also start posting. There's a video that if you have not seen it yet, I would love for you to check out, because this has all of the nuance around waking up a sleepy community. So I'm going to link this for you as well. But the allies are really a key to get the conversation off the ground as well. Now, the next question in here was, how often should I be posting, right? So you can, in the beginning, post daily. I did that when I got my community off the ground. Also, I want to say when in the experiment community that I started, when I had 100 members, it was still very quiet in there, right? So for me, it really started to have momentum when we were almost at 400 members. So you just also have to keep growing it as well. And you want to do a workshop in December to get people to upgrade, you absolutely have enough people to do that. And I would start that, and you can even advertise the workshop to try to get more people in there. It's enough to add paid tiers. You just have to be realistic about conversion rates being between 1% to 5%. So, you might have anywhere from 1 to 5 people or even more, hopefully, upgrading. And you just have to be realistic about that. But there's no reason why you would not want to start promoting the paid tiers. 100 members is absolutely enough. Okay, next up we have Gert, and I am answering around the 2 hour 49-minute mark. So Gert said, can you give me a flowchart style breakdown of the steps to manage meta ads and the order of action for copying an ad from one campaign to another, including when to do this, how many or what kind of campaigns to run, normal, high volume, target cost, without explaining how to click anything. So I think I did this today, Gert. I actually made this video for you. So I'm gonna answer here. I tried to do this. I hope this is what you wanted. I can also try again next week. But let me see when I was doing this. You can see me doing this. Roughly here. Okay, so starting roughly around starting just before the 2-hour mark. Two-hour mark, and we'll cut the video for you. Okay, perfect. Next up we have, let me just close some stuff down. Lima, and I'm answering around the 2-hour 51-minute mark. Okay, so Lima's question is, my current situation is I'm trying to grow my school community with ads, but I have a very high cost per purchase and can't continue running the ads if I can't bring down the cost per purchase. My desired situation is to get lower cost per purchase so I can continue to fill my school. My problem is I've been following the Andromeda ads protocol, but I'm not sure I'm doing it correctly. Are the ads my problem, or does my about page need work? Because I feel like I get a decent amount of landing page views from the ads, but very little conversions. Conversion rate is about 1%. Pretty much this is your offer, my sweetie. My question is, could you please have a look at my ads and my about page and tell me what I should optimize and focus on next to fill my community with ads? Here's the link to my about page. Absolutely. And then ad stats. Perfect. Let's do it. I'm gonna share this with you so you guys can also follow along. Okay, so this is the Mom Glow Hub. Okay, there's a few things, my love, you can do immediately, like adding your about page video on the first. Here we need to have your about page video for sure. And then let's also look at the ad stats and the ad visuals as well. Oh, I love it. You just need to make sure that it's very clear in your ad headline that it is paid. Yeah, there's also not like a super urgency. I think yours would be also really well suited for a challenge or some sort of, thing that kicks them into gear. The whole challenge offers actually come from the weight loss space. So, oh, you have this here. Okay, pull this to the front, please. Make this the first image here. You know what I don't see? I don't see that it's a new opportunity. So you're calling out the right audience. Your conversion rate is low because you don't necessarily have the new opportunity. So you can try a new offer, like a challenge. But what I would try first is I would try to see if I cannot give it more new opportunity character. And I want to draw your attention to this community here. I've met him now in LA, but I already made actually a video about his community. He has mastered conveying his offer as a new opportunity. Learn Spanish from beginner to conversational in record time using the layers method, right? So learn only the most useful Spanish you need for daily life. So, he immediately has this what to do, the transformation, gonna be fast because of his unique method, and then only the things that move the needle, right? And then here we have the cheat code for beginners, and I don't say you need to present it like that, but he calls out his audience, and then the reason it's been taking you so long is that you're learning something that's not relevant, right? So by showing the why it's not been working, you immediately position yourself as a new opportunity, right? And so he does as well. Thank you for joining. There are 90,000 words in Spanish, but 80% of what we say daily is just the same 300 words over and over, and 90% of the complicated grammar they force you to learn is not even used in regular conversation. I used to feel stuck with this, but then I discovered that, right? So what I would recommend for you, my love, would be try to frame it more as a new opportunity first on your about page. And then if that also doesn't work, we should look into having a new offer from within the community. But try first to see if you can reframe it as a new opportunity and see where the conversion rate goes. And also, let me just see. Do you have any? Yeah, it would help. It would help to have multiple tiers here. It's something I would consider. But first step, new opportunity. And then we need to find a way to increase average order value. Alright, let me check in with you guys. How's it going? The screen is black. Oh, what's happening there? That's so weird. Can you guys see it now? Did this just happen? Is it now? Good. When I switch, can you guys now see it? Somebody let me know because I cannot see it when I'm trying to show other pages. So this is the current community. Also for $5, we will have to make it work with the ads, we will have to add a higher tier. And this was the games community that I showed. This works. Okay, perfect. Very weird. Thank you for letting me know. Okay. So next question we have up here is from Doreen, and I'm answering around the 2-hour 59-minute mark. Okay, so let me just tag Doreen. My next webinar is coming up on the 4th of December. Optimize the email sequences as you recommended, both in invitation and post-webinar. I'm posting regular on social media. I've already received a few signups, which is great. But besides the iteration, I want to increase the conversion rate from email, social media, and my blog. I also want to improve the conversion during the webinar itself to get more participants on the call. To achieve that, I want to make sure all marketing materials are conversion oriented as possible. My problem is I'm unsure where additional opportunities for optimization lie. Could you please review the remaining invitation emails in the sequence? I also would love your feedback for the carousel post I drafted, which I also intend on running as ads. And I also would love your feedback on my slide deck. Right now, it includes only the content on the 5 leadership shifts and the invitation calls. Which additional content would you recommend placing directly on the slides versus keeping in the spoken part? I would love to improve the conversions to the call. Okay, so one thing that I want to say is that the most important thing is your energy and your conviction and you bringing the message across, right? Oh, it is the same thing again with the screen. Okay, so much more important than the materials is, again, you being clear on the message, you being confident, you having conviction. Okay, so here we have machst du noch zu viel selbst? I like it. From the subject lines. Okay. Shorter. I would just say your blind spot. Or I would just be like, or, yeah. I like that. Probably to even increase signups, what I would do is, if you don't have the time to attend, but you know you need help with this, then book a call here now. And I help you directly. Book a free call here now. I help you directly. So just in the PS, just make just this employed in your own business, the subject line. Typically, the answer with subject line is just shorten it. Yeah, I would probably just have reminder and then this as the line down here. And again, the same PS. Switch these two. And again, the PS. And then we have the posts. I like it. I really like it. I also like it as an ad. This could maybe be a little bit simpler. I would say 6 signs your team is too dependent on you. So, um, zu abhängig von dir ist, right? So it makes it shorter and it's like it feels more diagnostic and easier to understand. I would also have one that's like a dependent team costs you more than time, and then show the real additional cost of it. Mhm. So I would spend typically a good chunk of the first time of my webinars. I built just trust and gap awareness, and I help them understand what it is all that they don't know. And I almost do that like through the fire hose, if that makes sense. So I really, really try to establish credibility and proof, and then also show them, where's the gap between what they currently do and what's actually working. And I don't see this enough. I feel like these are very inspirational, but they don't trigger me in a way where I'm like, oh crap, I didn't know that, or oh wow, I didn't even consider this. It's like giving people aha moments where they feel like that's also, by the way, how they walk away feeling like this was really worth my time, is if you give them a lot of aha moments and shifts. So I would really look for that in here as well, and I would spend a good chunk building credibility and giving them these aha moments before I go to educational. So they should almost like self-diagnose and become gap aware because they're a little bit overloaded with that information. That's what works really well for me. I don't see that in here. So I'd probably go to Claude or ChatGPT and say, look, here's the webinar, here's what I plan on deliver. Ask me questions that tickle out all of the things that I know and have done that can help me to create these aha moments and the gap awareness. And then I would probably spend like 3 to 5 slides on them. These are also great pieces of content for you. All right, we have 3 more questions here. So if you have a question in the chat, please also drop it. Right now is the 3-hour, 7-minute mark. And the next person I answer is Rochelle. So okay, my desired situation is I've just started running ads for my membership and I've already had 9 sales. Good work. I've added my ad profitability tracker and a quick 1-minute Loom video walking you through the campaign setup. My desired situation is to confidently build out more versions and more ad creatives using Andromeda best practices. I want to know exactly how to scale my winning hooks and creatives without breaking anything or wasting budget. My problem is I'm confused on the next steps for my ad tests. I'm not sure whether to duplicate them into the current this is the offer campaign or move them into a separate scaling campaign, and if so, how to adjust budgets between the two based on the school profitability tracker. I can't clearly see inside Meta whether conversion is monthly or annual. I'm also driving organic traffic, so I'm unsure of the best way to separate out beyond the daily breakdown. My churn has increased from 8 to 19%, from 9 to 18%. The feedback I'm getting is that people feel too busy and can't prioritize the work. My audience is mostly new aspiring entrepreneurs, so I'm trying to work out if this is a messaging issue, attracting people who aren't ready to be consistent, or if I need stronger mindset support inside the community. I have 3 quick questions. Where should I duplicate my winning test ads into my current campaigns or into the dedicated scaling campaign? And how should I manage the budgets between them? What's the clearest way inside Meta to tell whether school is converting monthly or annual members? I've been using the daily breakdown, but I'm not sure if there's a better approach. Could you share a mini checklist of other areas I should be looking at when working on churn so I can make sure I'm tightening the pieces? Awesome. Okay, so all excellent questions. Let's start with the ads themselves and the profitability tracker here. Okay. Really love seeing you run the ads here. Okay. Okay, £35 is a little bit on the higher end, but that's good. These are your first ads. So this is basically, if we're looking back at what we learned today, this is your foundational high volume campaign here, right? So this is what you've done. Now you have, oh, don't ever turn off ads, my sweetie. Just turn it back on. No ad turning off. No, never. Okay. Conversion ranking is a little bit on the lower end. That's okay. What I really want to see here is the cost per purchase and the distribution. That's fine. Okay. Seen enough. Next step, what you want to do is you want to work for the ad generation flow. And I'm going to share it for you. And I love to do this with Claude. And with that, you want to create your next set of ads. And I want to see you have 5 to 10 ready. Okay. And then you're going to set them up in a separate campaign, just like you did the initial one, right? Just like you did the initial one, and you let it run for 72 hours. Then you take that, if it didn't produce any purchases, you turn the campaign off. If you did produce purchases, you take the ad that produced the purchases, right? So now let's refresh this. Let's go here, for example. Okay, you take the ad that did generate the purchase, preview, Facebook post with comment, and you go back to your original campaign. And you're going to add it in here. Right, so just going to duplicate, enter your ID, and pull it in and publish. Now, this is what you need to do if it has a purchase. If it didn't generate a purchase, you turn it off, you make new ads, you repeat until you have some that produced a purchase. When it produces a purchase, you preview it, you pull it into the campaign. Now, what if the new campaign is profitable? Then you leave the campaign running, right? So if the new campaign is profitable, you leave it running, and you're going to add up all of the ads from the original campaign that produced purchases into this new campaign, right? So you're going to add down and up. You distribute all ads that produce purchases into all profitable campaigns. And then you just increase the spend on the lower one by $15 to $25, right? And then you come back after the next 24, 48 hours and you adjust the budgets basically based on how profitable or unprofitable the ads are. If the campaign is not profitable and you're losing money within 7 to 10 days massively, then I would just turn it off. And then you just repeat that process, launching new ads and testing them. Okay, so that was one question here. The next question was about seeing ROAS, or seeing annual signups. So let me just discard this. What you can do is you can customize your columns, and you can have search for ROAS, and also search for the purchases themselves. They should actually, they don't show it here. We'd need to set up the, one second. Purchase value. So here you see the value of the purchase. This had one purchase for 85, so that must have been a pro, right? This had one purchase for 28, so this must have been, because it's euros versus US dollars, that must have been a hobby. Free purchases for this, this must have been free hobbies. Okay, so this is how you can also see it based on the number of sales and the purchase value. So this way you can check in Ads Manager. And then last but not least, the churn. My churn went down when I just started to make it, about Grow with Evelyn. And now also with the challenge, it's like one specific thing that they hear at. So the churn really starts when they sign up. And did you also look at your churn by cohort, right? Because it could also be that, because I think you recently changed the about page messaging and your ads are just starting. So also look at the churn, the retention by cohorts, right? So what did you do when you lost the most members, right? So what happened in the enrollment there, and who actually canceled right now? Is it the new people that joined that cancel right away, or is it people who have been in there for a while that are churning right now? So that's what we want to look at, to figure out what you can do there. Typically the churn, it will be something in the offer structure as in what is promised. And also another thing is to always have a new opportunity for them as well, right? So you see, I added the course here. Today I gave Black Friday templates. So there's always some goodies, some excitement. Like I said, I put all of my shiny objects into the community, and then I also advertise them directly. Like you see here under day 4. So there's an element of keep adding new opportunities to the existing communities to keep the excitement high and keep members working. Hey, thank you for being here. Alrighty, so a couple more questions here to answer. Oh, it's actually one question from Georgina. And I'm answering around the 3 hour and 18-minute mark. Okay. So questions here. I'm still not sure what to do. I have a school community. Thank you. Welcome. I currently have a school community and a small list of 1,500 on MailerLite, which I really enjoyed using, and use Conversion Blueprint Funnel for simple funnels like Tripwire and SLO, although I find these quite complicated to set up and only use a couple of them since my membership is no longer on Conversion Blueprint Funnels. My desired situation is to the most effective email provider and funnel builder software if needed. I'm aware that Flowdesk does not integrate with conversion blueprint funnels, but does offer its own checkout with freebies and upsells like a mini funnel. Another challenge is I'm based in the UK, but sell everything in dollar, and Flowdesk will only let me sell a product or service in Great British pounds. Yeah, that's a problem, which means my products would sell in GBP and school in USD. Would this affect my? It does affect conversion rates. Like the US people don't like to buy in pounds. So I wouldn't necessarily do that. Is it better to stay with MailerLite and conversion blueprint funnels or move to Flowdesk with checkouts on school? How does school tie in with this in terms of, can I also sell mini offers in there too? I run ads to school to grow and sell my offers, or is it better to sell mini offers through the email directly? So I would not switch to Flowdesk in your case because the funnel functionality is not worth it if you cannot charge in US dollars, in my opinion. So I would keep the conversion blueprint funnels and the MailerLite. And if you want to build a school community, you can also set up your offers in the classroom, right? And then advertise them to your school community. But that ties in for me with the question of, do you actually want to run a school community? Is that the long-term vision? I'm just currently looking into your profile. Nourish Your Soul Society is based to find peace with food and body. Yeah, so I think I don't think it's worth getting Flowdesk right now, just for the funnels. It might be worth it if you're like, this is long-term cheaper for me than MailerLite because I plan to blow my list up like crazy, right? Then it might be worth it. But I don't think, I have 70,000 subscribers and I want to get to 1 million. So for me, it's a really, really good deal. But in general, MailerLite is highly functional and it's also reasonable. So I'd probably not take Flowdesk for now or in general because I don't think it's what you need for the business. I would keep my funnels right now on the conversion blueprint funnels. Like right now, you probably don't have a lot of cost. And then I would try to sell the offers within my community. And for that, I would run ads to the offers and I would see where it converts better, if it's on a separate page or if it's in the community. And then that's this campaign, how to run ads to offers inside your community. And then you can make the decision. It's very hard to say without the actual sales data. Only thing I can say is if you can only charge pounds, it's probably not gonna be really, really helpful. And maybe there is a way to integrate it with Zapier between Flowdesk and the conversion blueprint funnels. The only reason why I would consider Flowdesk right now is because of their lifetime offer. So that really depends on your vision for how big you want to grow your list. Right now, probably on MailerLite with 1,500 people, you don't pay a lot. Flowdesk would be similar. So if you want to preserve that opportunity to grow, a lot, I would take advantage of the lifetime offer while they still have it. But only you can answer if that fits your vision from the functionalities you have with the conversion blueprint funnels and with MailerLite, everything you need. And it's also good because I just saw that your school is still on the hobby plan. So you actually need conversion blueprint funnels for conversion tracking. So keep that, run the ads to the offers and say, or for free in your community, and then turn it into an option funnel, like the one you see here. Right, so where you have your mini offer or for free in the community and this links through to school. That's the setup I would probably go with right now. So keep conversion blueprint funnels, MailerLite, turn them into the option offer to your school community and use that as your funnel as long as your school is on Hobby Plan. All right. Beautiful. We're through with everything. Thank you so much, everyone, for hanging out with me today. I will now give my first try of having Ben chop this up in, or some of the initial trainings into trainings for us, for the community, and for YouTube. And yeah, I see you in the community. Thank you so much. Have a beautiful rest of the day. Bye for now.